You're not serious about starting the podcast, are you?
Yeah.
It started.
Dude.
All right, well then.
This guy definitely knows what I'm talking about.
We have Xtreme. Brian Mitchell. You hear him in the background. Brian, say something to the nice people.
Hello, nice people. I did something.
You did it. You did several things. Did you listen to my live recording when I was with that? Because I gave you some shout outs on how you developed. I believe I used the word genius. Not for you, but like, I didn't say you are a genius. I said you came up with a couple of concepts that were genius because they were so simple. So that's sort of a backhanded compliment. You're welcome.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. And so not only do we have Brian, quote, Xtreme Mitchell here, along with me, Jonny P, I've got, you know him as Scott Prime. You know him as Fat Finley. G-Dub knows him as Fatley. His family knows him as Scott Delcine. Winners of his, quote, home league know him as the creator of the Delzine Trophy. Is that last place?
That is third place, good sir.
Might as well be last place. If you're not first, you're last. You know the rules. Come on.
Welcome, all Zlurpcast listeners.
Thank you. You're also the co-host of Both Down.
That is correct.
Before we get into anything, you started Both Down because of our show, True or False?
Are you guys Drew and Chance?
You told us we were your inspiration.
No, we did say that. And I felt like an obligation to ask you guys for permission to do our own Blood Bowl podcast, which looking back is like one of the dumbest things ever.
Well, I thought it was sweet that you did that. Can I just elaborate, though? You had an article in some local magazine, and you didn't reference Zlurpcast at all. You said, we made a show about a board game we love, and there was no mention of what your inspiration was. And I'd like you to explain yourself.
True fact, that guy came over for the interview. We talked for 2 hours. He recorded the whole time, and we got one page in that newspaper. So
Wow.
we thought we were going to get 10 pages or so, and, small book format.
So you talked for 2 hours and Zlurpcast never came up?
Yeah.
I'm saying I didn't publish the final, I didn't do the final edits.
Okay. Oh, no, hold on. Let's keep digging. Because I see what Brian is like that dick lawyer that knows, like, when he has a witness in his grasp, he does not let up. He's like, okay, fair enough. So you're saying that the cutting room floor consists of footage of you talking about Zlurpcast? Yes?
It was, you guys were mentioned for sure, because we talked about how we first discovered, like Steve discovered your podcast. We started listening. We went to Chicago because of you guys, and then we started the podcast based off that.
And what's his name and phone number? I'm going to call him real quick.
His name's Luke something.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Luke something.
I think it was Schumacher. Call him up.
Skywalker? What'd you say?
Schumacher.
Oh,
Yeah, Luke Skywalker.
I'm saying.
His parents were awesome.
He doesn't have good cell signal where he's at right now, though. That's the problem. Anyway.
Desert Planet.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is Zlurpcast. You've already heard the tangents of the show. You're probably listening right now thinking, this is the first time I've listened to this show. They have a huge catalog of episodes. Great. I don't care. I'm starting with this one because they're talking about a game, Deathpath, that I may or may not be interested in. And I've now listened to 10 minutes of, basically horse shit. Where do we go from here? Brian, can you help the show get on track? You are the glue of Zlurpcast.
Welcome to Zlurpcast. I guess we didn't have a proper opening there because Scott interrupted because we have too many main guys at once here.
I thought we were going to have two mains and two others, but I guess not. Steve. We do need Steve to make a cameo at some point.
All right, I'll text him and make sure I can get a little Kilowoggy appearance.
Yeah, not now, but at some point.
I got you.
Yeah, not now.
Now?
No.
Not now.
No. It's gonna get derailed. And then what happens when you run the train and it gets derailed?
We're definitely on the rails right now, though.
All right, so let's talk about some stuff. Deathpath. That's the game created by Zlurpcast Studios. So Brian and myself, we met playing a game called Blood Bowl. We started a podcast about Blood Bowl. We turned our podcast into talking about other games, and now we're making games. This is the next step in the evolution that is known as Zlurpcast. And so when it came time to make a game, Brian and I can work on rules. We've played a lot of games. We know what we think is fun. But we need someone to bring a little creative expertise to the fold. And that is you. We let you into our fold, Scott. I don't know how you feel about that.
I enjoy your fold very much.
You're welcome. When I asked you to be a part of it, you said yes. First off, just a flat out yes, and then you said, and I quote, I'm paraphrasing. You said you're asking me because I'm the only one who will work for free, right?
That is correct.
And I said, no, that's actually not the case. I want to work with somebody on this first project that I consider a friend and I can trust. Because what I would hate to have happen is to have just a business-related relationship that goes awry because of, who knows, unknown circumstances. At least this way, if shit hits the fan, we're all friends and we'll figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you didn't want to hire somebody on Fiverr to start doing your artwork and then them just disappear in another country?
Well, yeah, I mean, they'll disappear, or even on the other side. Even, somebody, here that I might meet, someone in America, and we agree on a rate, and it's like, you know what, I'm going to need X amount more before I finish, and I get held hostage by the artist. Like, that shit happens. So I did not want to deal with it. I only want to work with people I can trust and my friends. And so down the road, that may change. Maybe we have enough.
Wow, you're already cutting me?
I said may. I say may.
As soon as we get big enough, dude, we're going bigger and better places.
No, what I'm saying is, as soon as we get big enough, you're saying you're too big for us. That's also what I'm saying. No, honestly though, it's down the road. Who knows what'll happen? Maybe we need an artist that does like 3D rendering for miniatures, that kind of stuff. But for this project, for the scope of a card game with dice, I knew you were the guy because I saw your comic book. I saw your artwork with some Blood Bowl tournaments, some logos, and I've seen some of your other sketches. And I was like, you know what? This works. This is the idea I had. I wanted a comic book looking style to this game. And so I'm like, this is perfect. As long as he's in, we want him in.
Well, I appreciate that, guys.
Yeah, no problem. It's the truth. And it's just sort of been the evolution of where this game came from. So what I'd like to do, I've kept notes. I don't keep show notes because who does notes? What I have done, however, a little folder on my Google Drive that I call Deathpath. You know what's inside the Deathpath folder?
Drawings?
Now, here's the notes. I actually can't find it right now, so I'm stalling. It says quick access. Quick access should be everything, right? Oh, it's a shared folder because Brian set it up. So now he's the owner? The fuck is that?
That's right.
You're the owner of the Deathpath folder?
I'm going to lock you out.
When did that?
He's your stuff. He's taking Deathpath over.
Holy shit. When did that happen?
I think because it was created underneath the Zlurpcast Studios.
And you're the originator of that. Wow. I better be on my best behavior.
Yeah, Mitchell, I'd like to talk to you later about maybe some things that me and you can do with this game I'm kind of semi-designing called Path of Death.
Yeah. Hey, sure, hey what's that? You keep calling him Mitchell. What are you, like a gym teacher? What is that all about?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Do you call me Pilatus? Do I call you Delcine? Why is he Mitchell?
Well, I don't know. You want me to call him Extreme?
No. That's my name for him.
There you go. That's what you do.
By the way, it's a little bit of a sore subject with Brian Extreme Mitchell, but anytime someone spells his name incorrectly and they put the E in there, he gets really pissed off, but he'll never tell anyone. Is that true? Extreme? Xtreme?
I'll never tell anyone.
I'll never tell. All right, well, I'm going to look back at these notes here. And this is the evolution of Deathpath. And I had it dated, too, because that way if I ever die and someone finds this, it's like, holy shit, here's something nobody cares about. Delete it.
Jonny actually did something.
Right. No, it's like, listen, this guy's using up, 1% of his Google Drive memory. Fucking delete it. We need that. October 28th, 2016. Idea. And it literally said, idea I had while going to the bathroom.
Like Doc Brown.
Yeah. How about a game mechanic where you start with D6s and achieving successes, but then you skill up and go to D8s, D10s, D12s. Your target number stays the same, but your chance of success and chance for criticals goes up. And I was like, I'm pretty proud of that. Then Extreme's like, here's 4 other games where that's already a thing. I'm like, okay. Point taken. Understood. So then I said, well, what about just taking different types of dice, and instead of numbering them sequentially, putting my own numbers on them, essentially making custom dice. But instead of symbols on custom dice, you were going to get a D8 that might have a 1, 1, 3, 3, 4, 7, 8. I don't know how many that was, and that would represent one type of weapon, whereas another weapon might be, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, whatever, because it's more consistent. So I'm thinking dice equal weapons. You roll the dice to go along with what weapon. Okay, that might be something. And he didn't actually shoot that one down. So I'm like, let's keep going. Because maybe he's waiting to shoot it down. Maybe he's not. Maybe he can't shoot it down. I'm not saying that it's the only game that does that, but I'm just saying, is it unique enough to build a game around? So then I started to think about, all right, what goes along with that? How about like gladiatorial fighting? So we're just fighting, we're in a pit. I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot there I can do with it. So then we talked about an older episode of Zlurpcast where we discussed games we invented when we were younger. And so I talked about the game Deathpath. I think it was, I don't remember. I'll link the episode in the notes. It might have been 67. I don't remember. But we talked about, there was a game I created with my buddy Kurt Mattson and my buddy Adam Miglio, who are going to want a cut of all this hot action. And they're not getting anything. They're going to get that. That's the mention. That's what we have agreed upon. You get the mention. But we created a game called Deathpath. And it was like nothing like what this game is. Just it shares a name. We thought, okay, well, how about I take Deathpath, the name, and we'll make more of a sci-fi kind of game. So then I started to think about, what if it was a maze? What if the game took place in a maze and you flip over cards to make your way through the maze? And I was like, I think we can do something with that. Because one of the things, Xtreme, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the things you and I discussed when we were thinking about game concepts, because you have at least 2 concepts that were in the same notebook that this is in, and we're sort of combining all these ideas and what we think works, what we think doesn't work. And we both said for our first game, we can't set our, I don't want to say expectations. I want to say it needs to be a relatively simple concept. Realistic. Like, obviously you and I, we play a lot of miniature games, and Scott, you do too. We play board games too, but we love miniature games too. We would love to do that, but how the hell could we pull that off right now? It's a lot of money. It's a lot of everything, and we're just not at that stage. So then we decided, well, how about just a board game? Great. Board games are, not only are they huge right now, but they do very well on Kickstarter. So I said, you know what, let's scale it back even a little bit. And let's make it a little more on more affordable side to ensure people don't really think, who are these guys again? Do I want to drop, $60? Now it's like, well, how about we cut that price in half and we make a card game with dice? Okay, there we go. And, with custom dice, that's not cheap. So the dice obviously are the bulk of the price. It's not a straight card game. If it was just strictly cards, it would be, even a lot cheaper. But we wanted dice because we like random elements. Scott, you enjoy a game, Super Show, that Brian and I love as well. And we've been playing a lot of Super Show. We've had Steve Rescon, the creator, SRG Universe, on the Zlurpcast talking about it. A true do-it-yourselfer kind of guy. He created this concept, and it was a card game with dice. And I'm like, I like that because I like card games. I really do. But I don't like the idea of building this perfect deck, and you're like doing all the meta at home. And then whether you do well or not, it's kind of just like things are already won and lost already. I love random elements, and that's why we play dice games. So I knew I wanted to incorporate dice in all of it. So we started to go back to that idea of using different denomination dice for weapons, revealing cards in a deck to create a maze, and we started to put it all together. I came up with a very rough set of rules, and I said, I think this is Deathpath, like version 0.1 of the rules. And so I went to Brian's house. This was, let me go back to the notes here. So let me see some of the things we had. February, I was playtesting with Heather and for a couple of months, tweaking things and putting other concepts on paper. And I got some initial quotes. In April, I talked to you, Scott, about it, and we did a Skype call, and you were like, I'm all over it. And immediately you sent me these cool maze logo drawings. You sent me like 3 different Zojoxers, one of the characters in the game, 3 different Mizzies. And I got all your sketches here in the notes, which, we started talking about what the expectations are and how these should look and the style and all of that. So we did actually get I did get kind of far into the rules. So then I bring it to Brian's house in May, and he's like, I said, all right, what do you think? And I remember 2 things that he said. Well, more than 2. I remember 2 overall things. One of them was, it's really fun. I like it. And I'm like, you're just saying that. Come on. He's like, no. And I said, okay, well, what will you change? Then he's like, all right, here's what I would change. Do you remember, Brian, the concepts you came up with that day?
Maybe. I know the unexplored path being one deck, rather than separate piles.
Mm-hmm. So we had it. Let me explain that one. So, and I'm just kind of, for people's benefit, just kind of fleshing out rules and different concepts. So in the game, you're revealing cards. You're going straight. You're taking a corner. Then you have a split. It's like a fork in the road. You got to go left. You got to go right. So I had it set where you split your deck, and now you have these different mini decks on the table. And let's say you encounter another split. When you split that one again. And the table was just a mess at that point, and no one even could keep track of it. So then you said, well, it's all unexplored. I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, just put them all together. And I'm like, no. But that deck is for that path, and that deck is for that path. And you're like, it doesn't matter. It's unexplored. You haven't been there yet. So it's essentially all the same. And I'm like, that's a pretty good idea. So now, when you run into a path end, sort of like a dead end, but that's actually a different concept, but you run into a path end where you cannot go any further, you now grab that unexplored deck. And that's your new deck. Brian, is that noise on your end?
I don't think so.
Do you hear that?
I hear it.
Sounds like there's a train out there.
I don't have a train.
What kind of train?
It's gone now.
I'm going to shut you off real set. Yep, it ain't me. It ain't me. All right, just tell the guy not to run the train at this hour.
Me? And I don't know it?
No, you're fine. I don't know what it was. I think it was Brian's heavy breathing.
I've heard it a couple times since we recorded.
Yeah.
I thought it was like on your end.
Not on my end. No, keep in mind how successful Zlurpcast has been. We have this like $100,000 studio that our fans bought for us. It's amazing.
Before you continue, can I ask rule questions during this discussion that I was curious about after watching the video?
No.
Is that okay?
No.
Okay.
I want you to ask him, but this is the evolution of the game first.
Okay.
Because it's going to be confusing.
Sure.
But I appreciate your enthusiasm.
No, Steve. Scott.
Steve.
Kilowoggy Prime.
Kilowage.
You better watch it, Thompson.
Episode 30 of Zlurpcast. Both Down meets G-Dub. Phenomenal. Anyway, so you came up with the unexplored. Perfect idea. Great. The other one you had, there was 2 other ones. You had three core game principles. That was one of them. The other one was, I had in the game, you're picking up weapons as you go, and it's just a weapon that's in the deck. He's like, well, why don't you just have like a stash card, like you open a crate to get an item. Then you don't know what's in your deck. You don't know what you're going to find. You can add in all kinds of cool stuff later on, expansion packs, new items, and I'm like, yeah, that's great. And we can put a trap in there. We can put like a health stim. You don't know what you're going to get. So it's a common game principle in a lot of games. So the idea of grabbing, opening a crate to getting an item. So I'm like, you know what? I think that's a good idea. And then you said, so when you get that, then you equip your item. So we have a left hand, a right hand, and one in storage, like a backpack you get. And that's it. So you have 3 spots. And where you put those around your card, you put it to the left of your subject card. It's in your left hand. Put it to the right hand. Put it up top. It's stored. And you can equip it later on. So that was a second great idea. The last one is arguably the best one. And that is, in the game, you are encountering pathfinders. As you're making your way through the death path, you encounter pathfinders. They are these robot constructs put there by the government to slow you down. I also have the subjects that might fight each other sometimes. They might encounter each other. So you said, well, what if you have a fight card and you're just waiting on it, and then someone else flips over a corner card? You should hit them as they're turning the corner and you ambush them. And I'm like, that's a good idea. Then maybe like they don't get their defense dice because they weren't ready for it. They don't get to hit you back because, again, they were just ran the corner. And that became the ambush concept in the game, one of the 3 main fighting modes. So from the unexplored deck after a split to equipping items and picking up items to the ambush, 3 like very important principles that not only are they important in 2-player, but even more important when you play more than 2 players, because you can, there's multiple people turning the corner. There's only a certain amount of items. So it was a great concept. So Xtreme, you will forever be a part of this game, even if you do nothing else, ever. Like if you do nothing to help me ever for the rest of my life, you have those 3 things, and I can't take it away from you.
All right. I feel like I've done nothing since those 3 things.
It doesn't matter.
I'm doing good.
It doesn't matter. So are you guys fans of the Proclaimers, the band?
I will walk 500 miles.
Exactly. This is Xtreme's 3-hit wonder. He didn't just have one. He had 2 more hits than the Proclaimers.
Well, Xtreme, hopefully you'll have more, because this is just the beginning of Zlurpcast Studios games.
That's true. Hopefully, yeah. Just like when the Proclaimers go on tour and they're playing some local festival and they say, we're going to play our new stuff. Everyone's like, boo, 500 miles.
Bring out Deathpath.
Why would they say that? Oh, wait, are you saying I'm going to end up at a local festival trying to sell this game next to the cotton candy guy?
Yeah, in about 10 years, you'll be at some Comic-Con with a bunch of copies, and you'll be like...
I'll be like, yo, Virgil, watch my table. I got to take a piss. He's like, yeah, no problem. And he steals all my shit.
Definitely.
Like, Virgil! So anyway, that was the evolution of the game. Took it to Brian. We came up with those rules changes. Then we started playtesting even more. I did a multiplayer playtest at Grognard Games with a bunch of people. And from that point forward, I just started to tweak it on my own because I already got the core of the game down. So then it was just like these, playing over and over again, working out percentages. Okay, how many times did this person win? Okay, how many times did this dice roll come up? I literally was doing I'm not even kidding. I was doing 1,000 dice roll. I was writing these down, trying to see combinations of things to see, is it how I want it to be? Is it this weapon is clearly better than this one because I want it to be, that kind of stuff. So doing all that, tweaking it, working more with prospective manufacturers and how much it's going to cost, and talking about marketing and pushing it and Kickstarter and Gen Con. That's kind of where it all went the last 2 months. So I would say really July and so far what we have in August, it's been completely on the side of the publisher side, not on the designer side. Some people are game designers, some people are game publishers. We're doing both. It's been done before. Super Show did it. Techno Bowl did it. Friends of the show, that's why I'm referencing them. So that was sort of what recently is on the publisher side. And I honestly don't even know, if someone asked me, what's easier or what do you enjoy doing more? I'm like, they're both really fun. And they're both very challenging, too. I mean, game design, essentially, you can, you don't have to worry about is it going to happen or not, because that's somebody else's job to make it happen. But then again, it might never happen. Whereas if you're publishing it yourself, you're a little more passionate about it too. So that's kind of the evolution of Deathpath from idea to game design to publishing. And I should also note, if you're listening to this the day it came out, you're in luck. The Kickstarter is now live. You can search on Kickstarter Deathpath, or I'm also going to forward deathpath.com directly to the Kickstarter. You can pledge now, back the game, support it. I got playtest videos, all of that. So yeah, it's a good time to release this episode. I'm trying to do the full media circuit. I'm waiting to be on Conan and possibly Fallon. They're a little booked up right now. That's kind of how it all happened. So at this point, Scott, I would love to hear all of your rules questions.
Okay, so I watched the video, and I really liked what I seen.
Okay, that's the video that is currently it's on YouTube on the Zlurpcast channel. It's also embedded in the Kickstarter campaign page. You can see there's a YouTube video, a basic 2-player game right in there. So this is what you're talking about, that video.
That's correct. So when I came on the project, the whole time you've been sending me the rules and the rules update, and I keep meaning to make a prototype and just never did.
Yeah, that's all right.
So I finally got to see the video of the gameplay, and I really enjoyed what I saw.
Awesome.
I'm not just saying that because I'm a part of it, but it really intrigued me. So I love the fact that when you get to the splits, that the deck actually splits up, and you kind of do that I divide, you choose mechanic that are found in some other games and stuff.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
Yeah, it keeps it, it's kind of fun because there's a little, I'm not going to tell anyone this is the game that has the most strategy in the world. It's a very fun game. I hope you think it's fun, but it's pretty random. So I'm like, you know what? what's more fun than screwing over your opponent? I mean, honestly, like, it's just a fun thing to do, to like play mind games. And like the moment the split mechanic came up, I completely thought about like Princess Bride, like, well, you thought I was going to take that glass and the poison was there, but what you didn't think. And so like when I'm doing it, it's like, I'll give you one half that's like, you know, real small. Like, he's going to pick that one because it's shorter. And then you're going to think that I'm going to think that you picked that one.
Never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line.
And it's like, that whole idea is just so intriguing to me. So like, I had to do it. I'm like, I got to put this split in there where your opponent does it. So I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Well, I think it also sets up for if you ever do expansions or something, you can, you know, make that type of mechanic even grow further with other things. So you split the deck. Yeah. I've noticed in like your video, and then like you would flip through the deck, and if you got to the dead end, you would take the other pile of cards.
Correct. You switch it. So
you switch. So if you got to a lot of different forks in the road where you had to make multiple choices, what happens when you, like in your example video, the very last card you got to was at the end?
Yeah, and by the way, one, I didn't stage it. Two, you can't stage it because I shuffled a bunch of times.
No, it wasn't staged.
I was like, dude, like, come on. That's not the first. It happened once during a play test at the store, but it was the last card.
So what happens when you grab the big deck that's left and you run into a card that's a dead end?
So you essentially keep going back to the unexplored. So what happened in my game with Heather in that video is I actually had the benefits of another split because it let me go back to the low unexplored. If that makes sense. So I got screwed, and I was like, oh, now I got to take this whole other stack. I bring that over, and that's my new maze deck. Then I hit another path end, and I'm like, okay, well, let's switch it again. And so you switch that one back with the other unexplored, and now I'm back to my much quicker path to the end. So it actually worked out very well. It was, you know, if you think about it in, you know, sort of in your imagination, you took a wrong turn, but inevitably it ended up being the right turn when you got to a certain point in it because you ended up closer than where you thought you were going to be.
Gotcha.
I will tell you, to your point as well, and the game is specifically designed for this. There are a total of 5 split cards in there. 3 of them are a two-way split where you cannot choose to go straight. You have to go left or right. And 2 of them are the 3-way split where you can go either left or right, essentially splitting your deck, or ignore it and treat it like a straight path right in front of you. So I wanted a couple of those in there because if you're making your way to the end and you know you've already went through some shit, you've already like, listen, I did this. No, there's no need to split. Even though I might get a smaller deck, there is no need. I want to keep going straight. So I definitely wanted some of those in there to allow that choice as well.
No, it looked really cool. I'm glad you already mentioned that there's multiplayer rules, like for a group of 4 or whatever. So
I'm going to say 4 players is really fun. 6 is when it starts to get a little, I don't want to say unwieldy, but leaning towards that. Only reason you can play 6. You really could. It's 6 people doing things at the same time. It's simultaneous action. This is not, okay, Scott, your turn. Okay, Brian, your turn. This is the next turn. We all reveal at the same time. So when by nature of that, the more people you have, the more variables. So 4 is very fun. And I highly suggest people, if you're considering multiplayer and you're considering backing, there's going to be a level that's $55. You're going to see it right now. You get 2 games. So one game, it's $29 level, or you get two games for $55. You'll have 4 decks right off the bat. So you can play 4 players right away. And it's pretty fun to play 4 people. Going more than that, it's doable, but just keep that in mind that the more players you add, the little more unwieldy, and it won't be as fast of a game anymore. Like a 2-player game, if you know how to play, is about 20 to 30 minutes. A 4-player game, if you know how to play, is about 30 to 40. Start doing more than that, and there's a lot of this like, okay, these 2 things happen at once, but we still have to do one before the other ones, and that kind of thing. I don't want to discourage multiplayer by any means, but I would say 6 is probably the realistic cap before it gets a little out of hand.
Is there a specific sweet spot for a number of players? Like if plays best with 3 or 4, or
if
does
you
it just really depend on your group?
I would say if you ask Brian, he's going to tell you 2. Is that correct, Brian?
2's my favorite.
Yeah. And I'm completely okay. Like I obviously have pledge levels to sell more than 2 games, but I'm not saying you have to buy 2 games by any means. There's not a lot of really fun 2-player games in my opinion. In comparison, I'm sure there's a good amount, but when you compare it to really fun multiplayer, like I don't think there's a lot out there that's let's say husband and wife, significant other, whatever, you want to just, maybe you don't want to have all the guys over, all the girls, that kind of thing. You just want to play a one-on-one game. It's very fun for that. It's quick, it's fun, it's brutal. 4 players, when you play that though, now you have multiple people turning corners, multiple people you can ambush. And I put a rule in there about the split. So you know how in 2-player, you give your opponent your deck, and they're going to put the path end and the hidden path in there. Well, in more than 2 players, you only do that if it's the first split of the game. If it's any after that, the deck goes to the person who had the last split. And I did that because it might lessen the chance of favoritism going on. All right, man, I'm always going to put the hidden path in the left one. Even though I would totally screw my friends over anyway, even if there was a pact. But you can still beat on one person, though. You can still, in a way, team up. But it helps to lessen that a little by making the last person who had a split be the one who does the split,
My plan is to get multiple decks for sure, though, because my playing group is always usually 3 or more. I mean, I love the option of 2-player games, but I love the option for 4 or more even better. So I'm glad to hear this plays well for that.
I would say sweet spot would be 2 through 4. 4 is really fun, and 3 is essentially the same. It's just one extra person. 2-on-2 is different because you really only have one person. And something that was asked on another interview was, do you see the same winning? What's the word how to win a game?
The winning condition.
Yeah, winning. Do you see the same getting to the end of the path, essentially getting to the bottom of your deck, or killing the other person? And I said, well, in a 2-player game, it's about even, because if I get my hands on a really good weapon that can dish out a lot of damage, as shown in the playtest or the gameplay video, I mean, my character won that one without getting to the end of the path. Just by beating up the other player. However, in multiplayer, like 3 or especially 4 or more, the chance of that happening goes down a lot, because that's a lot of people to eliminate. You can kill one, but it's really tough to have everybody die and be the last one standing in a 4-player game. So I would say the vast majority of the time in 4-player, the winner is the one who gets to the path end, or to the end of the path first. And knowing that might change the way you play a little bit. You might have a fight card, like, all right, I'm going to wait and beat somebody up. No, I'm not. I'm just going to keep going because it's a race. So that's what I found after, countless games, is that 2-player, it's about even. More than that, every player you add makes the likelihood of the winning condition being getting to the end that much greater. What else you got?
I think that's all I have right now.
Nice. Well, I know that there's a lot of questions out there from the Zlurp Nation. We asked in our Facebook group, by the way, if you're not in that, you should jump right in there. Right now. Pause it and get all up in there. Zlurpcast Studios. Join the group and join the conversation. It's not only about our games and our show. It's about other games and other people. I was promoting a lot of other people's Kickstarters. I love to promote the community as a whole. And it's just having fun, playing games, talking crap. So join it, and it's a good time. So, Xtreme, what kind of questions do we have from the Zlurp Nation?
Let's see. The Zlurp Nation and the Zlurpcast Studios Facebook group.
You're buying time right now. I get it.
Chris, I'm ready.
Okay. All right.
Chris Engler would like to know how many different characters there are.
Great question, Chris Engler. You said Engler? Dude, he's going to kick your butt. He gonna kick your butt.
He's not going to be allowed across the border.
Build the northern wall. I'm gonna tweet to Trump right now. Be like, forget about that other one. Forget about North Korea, especially today. Build the northern wall. All right. Anyway, so how many characters are there in the box set of Deathpath? You will get 2 characters. It's a 2-player game in the core box set. Zoe Joxer. He is the retired 5-sport star athlete, now out of retirement chosen by the government to compete in the death path, and he has no choice. You do it or you're dead. That's just how it goes. And so with Zoe's background of just dominating in every major sport, being the epitome of the physical specimen, he should be a shoo-in to win. However, he's a little past his prime. No pun intended, Scott.
None taken. There's only one prime.
Are you past your prime?
No, most definitely.
No,
this is probably the final year of prime.
I will say I disagree. You are 100% in your prime right at this moment.
Oh, you think so?
I
Thank
very
you.
much think so.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
But you're past your prime number, right?
No, I'm not
Not yet.
No.
Almost.
Are you 43?
I'm 43, and 2017 is a prime number.
Is 43 a prime?
This year was like the ultimate year of prime.
43 is a prime. 2017 is a prime, right?
Yep.
And
it worked out awesome.
And your roommate is 1. You have one roommate essentially.
Yeah, when Drew Bucciacone came up for Oklahoma Bowl, he turned 41, so he was also prime. So
nice.
We all share the big ginger birthday.
You know, he looks like a 41-year-old.
He looks like a 51-year-old.
He looks
we'll
like
listen.
Yeah, he's not gonna. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about us. He liked us like 5 years ago, but he looks like that cool uncle in your family, but you don't really know like what he really means when he makes those comments. But
that's how it is staying with him too.
Yeah, but like, you know, if your kid's like 14 and he stays with that uncle, you know he's gonna like, let me give you your first beer. Like, you know, he's that uncle.
Right, exactly.
So anyway, the other character, wow, that's a crazy tangent. The other character is Mizzy Pizzone, the cheerleader / martial artist / assassin that I would not judge her by her looks because she will kick your ass. And she's the other main character in the game. So the base game comes with 2. However, we plan to have 2 more characters as stretch goals, like early stretch goals. Like if this thing funds, it's $10,000, by the way, to fund. If this thing funds, you're going to see 2 extra characters in the basic pledge level, even for $29. I would suggest at that point to get the 2 games because, hey, if you're getting 2 more characters, you might as well get 2 games, but just my suggestion. Those are going to be included free of charge when we hit those stretch goals. It's not just 2 extra cards, though. It's 2 extra sets of custom dice that go with them. Remember, every character in the game, every subject, as we call them, you get 2 custom attack dice and 1 custom defense dice. No 2 subjects are the same. They all have different combinations, and they also have a special ability that each one has too that makes them different. So with that, I would love to see, like, quicker than, sooner than later, I would love to see this not only fund, but at the very least get everybody that pledges, even the base amount, 2 extra characters. So you can choose from 4 characters, and I can tell you what those are as well. So the 3rd character is called Agent J. He is a former government operative. He was a bad guy, but he did something that the government didn't like. He actually helped a citizen, which that's completely against the rules. You don't help people. You don't help them. And so he was let go. And now, for unknown reasons, he can possibly redeem himself in the government's eyes in the death path. So that's one of the characters. The other one, his name is Brix, Bryx. He's an exterminator by day, hitman at night. He's got a mustache that will intimidate the shit out of you. He's the 4th character in the game. So I'd like to see everyone get the 3rd and 4th character in their base pledge. That would make me really happy. That would make me more happy than just funding because I want to see people get 4 characters to choose from right away. What else you got?
Don Roach asks, are there expansion ideas already in the works? And will they be unlockable during the Kickstarter?
Yeah. So in the game, when you hit the path end, some people have said, well, why don't you call it a dead end? That's what it is. It's a made dead end. True. But an actual dead end should be a little more deadly than just, there's a wall, let's go the other way. I want to have an expansion called Dead Ends, or just Dead End, singular probably. And in that game, it's going to be another sort of an advanced version of Death Path, optional to add this to your base game, but it allows playable bad guys. So now we could have, Scott and I could be playing in the Death Path, and Brian could be a bad guy that his job is to kill us. Not just a Pathfinder and slow us down. He's literally trying to kill us.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. He's going to have his own stats, his own abilities, his own dice. That's all going to be in there. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is great. I used to play Joust with my friends.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
and
one.
like about level 3, I'd go, oh yeah, by the way, I'm the leader of the bad guys. And
Yes.
I'd heel turn them and I would kill them off.
It's the best. I will say, I mean, any game, like video games, any game where you can just be the asshole, like how fun is that?
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
I used to have a friend who'd argue with me. He's like, if you're the leader of the bad guys, why are they trying to kill you? And I was like, because you have to kill the leader to become the leader.
Of course. You know,
He gets so pissed
like,
at me.
as I was going to say, as Brian's favorite wrestler says, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Did you ever pull one of those moves against people that weren't your friends?
No.
No.
Because
I did this on a regular basis.
Did you really? That's awesome.
I would go to the arcade and play. They had like the 8-car NASCAR games.
Yes.
And like one lap in, I would turn around and go backwards and
Yes.
just start crushing whoever was in front.
Awesome. I was going to say, it's really funny. Right before you said that, I was going to say, I love doing that in Mario Kart. If I realize, I'm not going to win. Like, I'm not winning. I got Donkey Kong. It's never going to happen. I got a top speed, but I can't take those corners. So you know what? Screw it. I'm going the other way, and I'm going to leave this killer trail of bananas just to fuck everyone over, and then stand there by the water and knock people into it. So yeah, I love doing that, but it's like Xtreme. It takes a special kind of asshole to do that to strangers. Just saying.
For sure.
But
well, there's a little rush to it. Like, am I going to get my ass kicked right now? I'm not quite sure.
here, you know what? I'm going to give you credit though. At least you did it. I mean, it's in a video game, but it's in person. There's plenty of people who do that in online games.
Exactly.
I'm never going to see you, so I'm going to screw over your game. You did it at an arcade in person where you might get your ass kicked by a nerd with a chain wallet. Just saying.
It was always a possibility.
Always a possibility.
Anybody ever threaten you?
No, I got a lot of dirty looks and a lot of comments made behind my back, but no, it never got.
True story. I was playing Blood Bowl at a tournament this weekend, and a guy in the first half said, I don't know why you're doing this, but you're about to make me go on tilt. And you know what I did for the rest of the game?
What's that?
The exact same strategy.
Awesome. Good. You know what I say? In Blood Bowl especially, when you have a chance, you kick a man while he's down, you keep stepping on his throat.
Exactly.
You run up that score. You foul every player on his. You foul the crap out of his war dancer in a league. You destroy him. You run up that score. You call a legal procedure. But you know what? You do it with a smile. How about that?
Yep.
Because
ironically enough, I was playing against a guy who had wood elves.
Yep. That's what you do. To quote Games Workshop employee, that's what you do.
There you go. That's what you do.
That's what you do.
Yeah. I mean, it's Blood Bowl. Anytime someone complains, by the way, you don't really need to foul. Game's called Blood Bowl, my friend. Grow some balls.
Yeah, we were going into round 4. He had the best offense, basically. So I caged basically with my pro elves. And he's like, I don't understand why you're scoring. It's like, because I'm not giving you the ball, fool.
Yeah, there you go.
And he was bitching about it and moaning the whole game and then threw a fit at the end of the game. And I just wanted to say, scoreboard, dude.
Yeah, you know what you say? You play your way, I play my way. That's how it goes. You don't play toys the right way. Sorry. All right. Oh, one more expansion for Don Roach. Okay, so Dead Ends. That would be the first expansion. That will be unlockable in the Kickstarter if we hit whatever number it's at. I don't know what number that stretch goal is going to be yet, but it's there. There's another expansion. It's going to be further along in the stretch goal. If it explodes, awesome. I would love to make this, but this one's going to take more play testing, more work, a lot more work, but I want to do it. And it's an expansion called Solitary Assignment, and it's for solo play, just for Xtreme. He loves to play by himself. He loves to play with himself, frankly. Still there, Brian?
Yep.
Okay. What were you doing?
I was listening to the train go by again.
Oh, I thought you were playing with yourself.
Is that really me or is that one of you guys?
I have no idea.
Okay, I just plugged
It's
it.
gone again.
I don't think it's me. I will. You know what? I tell you, it's not me because I could turn. You guys share one knob. Not the first time you heard that. You guys share.
Sounds like Gas Cup all over again.
Boner Storm. You guys share one knob. If I turn that all the way down, it sounds unbelievably awesome with just me. So I can't really tell who the culprit is here.
I'm trying not to move or anything, so that's why I don't understand why the train comes in and goes away.
Does somebody have like air conditioner that turns on or something?
Nope.
No? Okay.
No.
All right.
I'm in the same place we always record, so.
Does somebody have like a breathing apparatus of some sort?
Oh, I'm dressed up as Darth Vader.
Okay.
Oh, that's probably it.
Right after the battle where Obi-Wan refuses to just kick him into the lava and kill him.
By the way, spoilers. Not everyone has seen episode 3. Thank you.
Oh, well, that's good for them.
No!
The best thing that came out of those prequels
What's that?
was Weird Al's The Saga Begins song.
That's a good song.
I know. That's the best thing that came out of those.
That's not the best thing that came out of it. You want me to tell you the best thing that came out of it?
Sure.
Darth fucking Maul.
He got killed really quick.
No, he's back.
Yeah, with robot legs and.
Doesn't matter, he's back. And guess what? The action figure didn't fucking die on my desk either. I tried to take him apart by his waist. It ain't happening. I don't have the strength. I don't have the strength. The deadlift strength.
I'm a fan of Qui-Gon too. I liked him a lot.
I did too.
He's a great Jedi. Like, because he's a great Jedi because he's not a great Jedi, if that makes sense. He's a rogue, and I like that.
That does make sense.
You know what the other great thing about the prequels were? The rise to stardom of one Jake Lloyd.
The rise and fall.
Yes. Scott, you know the story about Jake Lloyd and his connection to Zlurpcast, right?
Of course.
Okay. Does everyone know?
We've only told it 100 times.
I can't tell it. Only Josh has to tell it, and Josh isn't here. By the way, quick side note, he's made telling that story into an art form. Like it's like
It's probably got him laid, right?
Oh, no question. I mean, and by a Twi'lek answer, no less. I mean,
Because first he has to explain who Jake Lloyd is. This whole
right,
process.
of course.
He could go to one of those "May the Force be with you" cons and just like get all
Yeah,
that.
and actually, you're right, Brian. He doesn't have to because nerds are in now. He doesn't have to explain shit. But I will tell you, like the way he tells that story, it's like a comedian doing material that he's done for 10 years. Like it's Bill Cosby. Wait a minute. It's not the same. It's not the same anymore, Bill Cosby. I would love to reference an old Bill Cosby routine, but now they're different. He's different.
Dad is great and gives us chocolate cake.
All this Bill Cosby stuff pisses me off because now you can't even say you like the old Cosby Show because everybody's like, "Oh, so you like people who rape people?"
No. You know what? No, screw them. That show is funny as hell. It's Peter? Dude, fat Peter. Hold on. Peter on Cosby's lap at Rudy's birthday party with the girls doing the little song and all that. He's on his lap. He's holding him by his underwear in front of a live studio audience. That shit is amazing.
You know that happened to Steve Campbell somewhere, but it was just a white guy.
Do you think that was him? He was about that age, right?
Yeah, but Peter didn't have a beard.
Well, Steve had a beard at 9?
Probably. At least the bald spot.
It's probably not Steve, but I will say Steve did dress exactly like Peter at that age. Gray full sweatsuit. Why do I know what he wore? It's creepy. Anyway.
Anyway, kill me.
Who knew that Don Roach's, simple question would lead into a Cosby Show rant? Tangents are the show. That's what you know about Zlurpcast. So yes, 2 expansions planned. Dead Ends, Solitary Assignment, and I'm going to tie it all together. Idea that Kilowatt came up with the other day. He texted me. He said, you can have like an elevator in the Death Path. And I said, I'm thinking, well, why don't we have Solitary Assignment be the lower level? The basement of the Alamo, if you will. So that's down there. You got to get to it. I don't know, just an idea. It's probably going to go nowhere because I had no reaction from my co-hosts. I get it.
No, I like it.
No, it's too late.
No,
Dude.
I like it. It's kind of like a training mission.
No, I like it too because it sounds like elevator action, one of the greatest video games ever.
You can do that in real life, right?
Go around in elevators and kick people, super kick them in the face, and
Yeah.
then shoot light bulbs out.
I have that every day at work. In fact, there's always one elevator that the guy's working on. They've milked this project into a year-long thing. It's unbelievable. There's always one elevator out.
I think I lost you guys.
No, I'm still here. Brian, are you here?
I'm here.
I'm here.
Who'd you lose? We're the only ones here.
I lost for a second. You said they milked this project.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was a dumb elevator reference that nobody cares about.
Quick fact: we always played elevator action as Rick Ashley.
Ashley?
Whatever that dude's name is.
Who the fuck's Rick Ashley?
He's the guy in elevator action.
What?
We'd always kick people and say, like,
hold on.
Never give you a...
Oh, Rick Astley.
Astley. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Rick Ashley is the star of elevator action. Is that what you're saying? I could have Xtreme check your references. I mean...
Never mind.
All right. Next question, Xtreme.
Next question. Randy Jenkins Jr.
Randy with 8 A's.
Oh, hilarious every time.
It is.
Will traps be introduced into the game?
Traps. I will say traps are guaranteed to be in solitary assignment. Whether they're not going to be in the base game. There's a chance the traps might be in Dead Ends, because my vision for Dead Ends is it's got 2 components. One is playable bad guys, and 2 is advanced stuff for the regular game. You can play with both of those or just one of those. So I would like to think maybe traps would be in that. So I will tell you for sure not the base game. For sure, yes, the solo version, and maybe for the middle expansion, Dead Ends. I don't want to overcomplicate the base game. It's the beauty of it is that it is pretty simple and fun.
Jeffro asks.
Sorry. Can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
He said, "Will traps be in the game?" I'm thinking like a trap you walk in. Is that what you guys thought?
Yeah.
There's traps. There's actually when you open the stash and there's like
that's a trap.
That's a trap. So I should have probably clarified with him. If you mean that, then yeah, that's in the game and it's awesome. In fact, here's a fun little tidbit that you're not going to learn about on the other Deathpath podcasts. Xtreme's character, oops, I gave that one away. The character Bricks is a trapper. His special ability is he can turn ordinary crates into traps. Oh, wow. So how perfect is that? You have an ability that fucks people over. I didn't even think about that. Your character is the asshole of the game.
It's 12-year-old Brian Mitchell.
Holy crap. Dude, he was not 12 when he did that. He was 23. He was not 12 being a dick at the arcade.
I like that better that he was 23. Doing it to 12-year-olds.
Doing what? Ew.
Trapping them.
Trap. Cosby style? Like Peter on his lap?
Yeah.
That's enough. We just compared the co-host of Zlurpcast and co-creator of Deathpath to a convicted sex... is he convicted? No. He's convicted by the public. That's all that matters, right?
By the people that really know what's going on, yes.
Hey, OJ's free, just saying.
How's this going to affect the Fat Albert cartoon reruns?
Get your copy of Deathpath and find out.
What, Paths and Deathpath? Or trap? How is? Hold on. How is it? Let me just. I want to what they call mirroring the question. It's an interview style, Scott. How does a trap in Deathpath affect the old Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids cartoon? Let me answer that with a qualified. It won't.
Oh, okay.
Follow-up question. What about a picture page?
Oh God, I knew you were going to bring that up.
Dude, I love Picture Page. He had the coolest pen.
Yeah, you wanted one, but you never got one.
That's true.
You could order one. It was probably like a lot of money, but you can't get one. No one had it. Speaking of stuff no one had, Cosby or Fat Albert, that the opening sequence they cut to Rudy playing electric guitar, and everyone else has garbage instruments. He stole that guitar, right? That's confirmed.
No, he had a rich uncle.
Did he?
Yeah, he had a rich uncle.
Is that a real thing, or is that canon?
I don't know.
All right, Xtreme.
You should have went with that. You were blowing my mind
listen,
there for a second.
Xtreme, I know you are in charge of the Fat Albert wiki.
Yeah, let's go add that to it.
Oh, good stuff. So traps as we know it, as like a crate that explodes in the game. A pit trap that you fall into, not in this base version, but maybe later. Okay, next question.
Do you think Rudy was maybe the first African-American cartoon that was transgendered?
What?
I mean, doesn't he kind of look...
Get your copy of Deathpath and find out.
It could be.
Oh gosh.
Spoiler alert: Rudy is the 5th character in Death Path.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome.
He steals electric guitars. I gotta cut some of this out. It sucks. I hate to cut some of this out, but like I'm gonna have board game hipsters listening to this. Hopefully, they can't handle it. Their minds are gonna explode.
You're right. Well, I'll be good.
There you go. That's what you do.
Oh, Jeffro would like to know if there's an age range you had in mind, if there's anything teetering on the edge of appropriateness for certain ages, and he's looking at possibly getting it for someone's kids.
Yep. So 13 or greater will be the age. And that's for many reasons. One, I mean, it's a game about killing. So, one could consider it violent, but really that's the game that board games should be at. That's the age range board games should be at. So you don't have small parts. Don't eat these things. You're not supposed to, that kind of thing. So 13 or greater will be the age range. What else you got, Extreme?
Cool. Kyle would like to know about the replayability of this game.
Oh, forever.
I will say that
forever.
My experience playing the game, you get done with one game and you immediately go right back into another one.
Yeah, it's
you shuffle up and you go again.
Because it's not a traditional card game. There isn't the I've built this deck to win. I didn't win. Okay, I'm going to go home. It's just random. It's just fun. So who knows what's going to happen? They're quick games. There's no reason why you can't have more than 2, 3, 4 games in a session. It's very I'm not just saying it's replayable because it's my game. It's the way it is. I mean, it's a quick game. Tell me any quick game out there that doesn't have replayability. It's like, if it's quick, it's fun, you're going to want to play again. If it's an exhausting game, some of those really super complex board games, like someone was telling me dude, I just got Star Wars Rebellion. It's awesome. It took all night to play it, but it's so great. That's cool. You're not going to want to play that again the next day, probably. You might want to have some buffer in there, right?
That game is amazing, but you have to sit out. I mean, especially for your first time, 6 hours to play it.
Right, exactly. So it's not a knock on games like that. There's a time and a place for those games. Death Path is not one of those games. It's like Super Show. Quick game, let's play. Who knows what'll happen? Let's play again.
I know with my gaming group, when we get together in board game, we like games of different length for the main reason of we can play an hour-long game, another hour-long game, and then at the end of the night, if somebody needs to go home because they got to go to work early or anything, then we pull out some of these smaller games that only take 30 minutes. So to me, this is where this would fit in.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Different people have different play styles. Different people have different schedules. And so, yeah, why not? This is a fun add-on game. You're going to Gen Con. You want to play a game kind of, people are having a few drinks. You're in your hotel room. To me, it's that kind of game. It's not very complex. The rules are pretty easy, and it's just fun. That's what I want. That was my goal. I didn't try to make a complex game and ended up with an easy game. I set out to make an easy, fun game because that's what I like to play. I'm too old for a 100-page rule book, a 200-page. I play some of those games, but I usually have to watch a bunch of videos and have people show me, and I forget rules. Then I get frustrated because I forgot half the rules. I just want to go out and roll some dice and flip some cards. That's it.
But there is decisions in there. I mean, I think there is some strategy in the decisions, like on the path. Do you wait to somebody to, hit them and run or whatever you want to do? So
there is. And thanks for bringing that up. You're right. There's splitting is a decision. Do you want to wait on a fight to ambush somebody or not is a decision. What weapons do you use and not use is a decision. The two-handed weapons are clearly higher strength than the one-handed weapons. But when you have two one-handed weapons, you can hit with both of them. And if you have two of the same one-handed weapon, you can re-roll one of your attack dice. So you have to say, well, do I think, okay, I remember seeing that weapon come up before. It's kind of like memory a little bit. Okay, that weapon came up already. I know there's 3 of those in the deck. That came up already. Or the brutes, the big Pathfinder. There's one of them in the whole deck. Okay, I know I already fought him, so he's not waiting for me. So I can go ahead and do more straight paths and not split because I know he's not waiting for me. So there is that kind of memory. I would say that if you have a really good memory, you probably will do better at this game than other people. Just my thought. I have a horrible memory, so I suck. It's the way it goes.
I got some more good ones here.
All right, definitely, because Todd asked 10 in one post.
Excuse me, I have one question. It's a 15-parter.
Right. I'll hang up and listen for my answer. First time caller. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I'll just wait here for the main guys to get done jerking each other off.
Wow, I thought you were serious. It's fine, and then you went into a thing, a passive aggressive comment. Cool.
More lube, Johnny.
Randy has another question. I'm going to kind of paraphrase and kind of make this my own question a little bit.
Is Randy spelled with 8 A's?
Always. His opening question, and then I'm going to kind of take it into my own direction. Can characters get injuries that affect gameplay?
That's a really good question. I thought about that. So I'm going to take a step back and talk about the early version of Deathpath. The basic concept was there is no injury, there is no health tokens. I did not want a game initially that had health tokens because every game has health tokens. I wanted something different. So what I did was, in the rules, I said, when you win a fight, you flip over cards and you get through fast. The loser does not. The loser might even have to reverse flip, like go the other way. And that was to signify you got your ass kicked, so you're going to take a while to get back on the path. I won, so I'm going to get a head start and go further. And then there wasn't actually going to be like a kill, unless you killed someone in that fight only. You know what I mean? Like you dished out enough damage in that 1 3-round bout that you killed them. But it wasn't a cumulative damage. I didn't have cumulative. I just had like counted up for that one fight, and then if you die, oh well. But otherwise, you're just getting slowed down. The more I thought about it, the more I thought I have to do it. I got to put health tokens in there because I wanted to have a health stim where you gain more. I wanted to have a trap where you automatically lose some. I wanted people to feel like crap. I'm like, okay, so in the game on the Kickstarter, the video on there, Heather was playing. Her character had like 1 health left. She didn't want to fight, so she's not going to wait on a fight card. She doesn't want to fight. She wants to get to the end quick. So I wanted that to be a thing. The only way to do that was to incorporate health tokens. So I said, you know what? Screw it. We got to do it. Let's do it. So with that said, do I want to also add in a rule that says now that you're hurt, you have blank negative ability? You now don't have this. I will tell you this much, that will not happen in the base game, no matter what. The base game will not have that added mechanic. Possibly in one of the 2 expansions. I could see that happening in the solitary assignment solo play because it's 1 player. So there might be something there. I could see it possibly be happening with the dead ends because the Pathfinders are trying to just slow you down. Other subjects are trying to hurt you. Dead ends would be trying to hurt you. So I might incorporate that in there. I would have to do a lot of play testing to see how much it slowed the game down, if any, and how I would actually do it. Do you lose an attack dice? That's pretty devastating if you do. Do you not get to do something? Do you not get to use 2 one-handed weapons because you're hurt? Like, there's plenty of variables of how I would incorporate it. The question is, do I want that in the game? So at this point, Randy with 8 A's, I will tell you not in the base game, but maybe a future expansion. It's definitely on the table, and it was something I had written down to consider anyway for a more advanced version.
All right, and he also want to know if there'd be any team or co-op features, and possibly using the single-player box set to do co-op, as a lot of games do.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about it. I don't. My thought would be if you're playing 4-player, somebody could be teaming up anyway, but to actually have a real thing in the game of a team winning. I don't know how I feel about it because just if I can take another sort of step, this time a step sideways, we'll say, I want this game to be more than just a game. I want to have additional background and fluff. And Scott, you may or may not know this, but assuming all goes well, you and I are doing a comic book about it.
No, so, I did not know that.
Well, now you know that now.
Zlurpcast exclusive.
Yeah. So I have all these, you guys are helping me with ideas. I've got a whole backstory in my head about why are we in this death path? What is the purpose? Why are you trying to get one person to win and what they're going to do as that one person? So I don't know if a team would fit into that, honestly. I don't know if I want to change the overall style of why one person has to win. You guys can go ahead.
Well, Johnny, I was thinking which I was going to bring up actually off air, like an expansion or something where you give everybody an agenda card, and somebody secretly, like in a group game, let's say there's 4 people, there's a hidden trader mechanic. So maybe you have 6 cards that you shuffle up, and one of them's the trader or whatever, and then you pass out one to all 4 people. So you don't know if somebody is there to betray you, or if they're on their own agenda, or maybe they just have a certain goal, like a different winning condition, something like a deadly agenda or something like that.
Yeah, an easy way to incorporate that is in the Dead Ends expansion, one of the players is a dead end.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good. I love that too. I like what's that game? Is it Shadows over Camelot with the trader? That's a fun game. I enjoy the idea of having that. I mean, other games have had a trader too. It's not obviously unique to any game, but I love the idea. Once again, goes back to Xtreme being the asshole at the arcade. There's something to be said for screwing people over when you play games with your friends. It's fun. So I am all for something like that. I think that would be a perfect concept in the Dead Ends expansion. Xtreme, you were going to say something.
Yeah, when the expansion where you have someone playing as the bad guy, you could have the 2 pathers decide that they just both want to try and live, and have those 2 teaming up in a co-op sort of way. Maybe if they kill the bad guy, then they win.
You want 2 people to survive the death path?
No, well,
Xtreme.
Maybe it's kind of like a Hunger Games type scenario, and they stare into each other's eyes and fall in love. And
they're in love.
Allow me to compare what I'm envisioning to WrestleMania 4.
Oh no, the Mega Powers?
No, that was I believe that was SummerSlam on '88.
Wait, 4 was.
Why do I know that? Jesus.
4 Macho and
4 was the tournament that Macho won. But wasn't there also a battle royal in which Bret Hart and Bad News Brown both won? And Bad News Brown did the Ghetto Blaster on. They were gonna both win. And Bad News Brown gave him the Ghetto Blaster and then beat him with the trophy. That happened, right?
Well, it might have happened in real life, but as you know, Vince McMahon probably struck that from the record since Bad News Brown is black.
What?
Vince McMahon's a racist, dude.
You're obsessed with this topic.
It is a fact. You go back to Bruno Sammartino, no African American, no black man has held the WWE Championship.
I mean, whatever it's currently been called,
well, right now it's called the WWE
Universal
Championship. The same belt that Hogan held, the same one that Stone Cold held, the one that's over on SmackDown right now has never been held by an African American. Now the world title, the old WCW,
an Indian with it right now.
Well, I know, but he's not African American.
So it's a very selective racism, is what you're saying.
Definitely. Booker T held the world title, which was the old WCW belt.
Right.
He didn't.
What happened to Tatanka then? That was always my complaint. Why didn't that guy get a title run?
Tatanka? He's currently at this.
It was undefeated for like a year and a half, and he doesn't get a title shot.
He's currently at that same festival with me selling Deathpath games and Virgil signing.
10 years in the future.
Yeah, except he's serving elephant ears up, or funnel cakes, if you will.
Oh man, I haven't had a good elephant ear in years.
Thank you for calling it elephant ear. Xtreme, what do you call them?
Those are 2 different things. They both exist.
Yes.
An elephant ear is the one big piece.
You don't even have to explain it. I get you. But a lot of people, they don't know what we're saying right now.
An elephant ear is just like a cinnamon piece of bread, right?
Well, I mean,
from what I remember,
if you want to take the fun out of it, it's supposed to be an elephant. I mean, you want to talk about Santa and Easter Bunny? I mean, what the fuck, dude?
Sorry, I ruined that for everybody. You're not really eating an elephant ear.
That was part of the joy. I'm like, Dad, this elephant tastes awesome.
Hey, Johnny, hot dogs are made out of not dogs.
I don't even want to know what hot dogs are made from. I've heard
they really might be out of dogs.
I've heard it's lips and assholes, but I don't know.
That's an urban myth.
We'll see. So anyway, we're not talking about black champions right now. That's not for this game.
All I'm saying is Deathpath already offers more African Americans than Vince McMahon offers you WWE champions throughout the history of the WWF.
All right, I'll give you that. You know what's really funny? I was in this, I was reading this Facebook discussion, and somebody asked about someone's making a board game, and there was like these 4 characters, and they were all white, basically white men, different roles. And someone was asking, like, don't you care about diversity, this and that, whatever. And there was a whole argument back and forth, blah, blah, blah. And then I looked at my game, and I said, and this is 100% the truth. I did not even think about, like, I need to put a black guy, a woman. I did not even think. I just said, I need 2 characters. Here's 2 to start with. Xtreme and I brainstormed on characters, and we picked those 2 just because we thought they were cool. Like, that was it. So, in a way, I'm not saying this gets me any kind of street cred by any means.
You're saying you don't see color?
I didn't see color. I didn't see gender. I didn't see color. I didn't see whatever else you're not supposed to see, but everyone does. I didn't see any of it. All we did was say, we want these characters in the game. Let's do it. And they happen to not be white males. So now the next 2 are. So go figure. But they got to wait in line.
We have to balance it back out.
They got to wait in line, and they might not even exist. Just saying, if we don't hit those goals. How could I afford such a thing? I don't know. Just saying. So, yeah. Did we answer the question? I don't even remember.
I think so.
What else we got?
Next question. How important is played card placement in relation to opponents? Does a playmat enhance the gameplay?
Who asked that?
Jeffro.
Okay. I don't know why I asked. It doesn't matter. So there's going to be a playmat additional purchase for $25. You'll probably see it on the Kickstarter now. It'll either be locked or unlocked. It's a stretch goal. And it's helpful because, I mean, it's always easier to play games on a mat. But it does tell you where, you have your subject card, the large character card. You're going to have a weapon to your left, a weapon to your right, and a stored weapon up top. And then you're going to have your maze deck where you're flipping over, and your unexplored deck, and your path ends and hidden paths off to the side. Do you need it? No. You don't have to get it. I'm not saying, make sure to get that. It's going to help me. I mean, there's a certain threshold. If we people order enough of them, the price might go down a little bit for me. But essentially, I'm not really making anything on it. So if you want a playmat, feel free. I have one available as a stretch goal. You can buy, but you do not technically need it. I would recommend you do have the item cards where both players can reach them. I would recommend you have your maze cards, like with your whatever hand, like if you're, I'm a righty, I like to flip with my right hand, but whatever hand you're going to be flipping over with, and you'd have your weapons, like one on the left, one on the right, that kind of thing. So I'm not saying it's required, but it would help to keep things in order. And if you're playing more than 2 players, it might be helpful. So, you might want to buy, if you want to play 4 players, and you want game mats, get 2 game mats because they're for 2 players, put them next to each other, and now you have a 4-player combined game mat.
Yeah, I'm always a sucker for nice accessories. I think the mat that you have is awesome, and I'm looking forward to getting one, but it's not necessary.
Yeah, agreed.
But I want one.
I like a lot of people, it's one of those, it's not necessary, but it's cool, and I like them, and I've bought in such things before, so I want another one. Did I say bought-in? Is that a word?
You did.
What the fuck is bought-in?
Well, we understood what you meant. So
I know, but then I'm like, should I let it slide or should I address it? I think I'm going to address it. Because guess what? Someone's going to make fun of me later, so I might as well address it.
We're going to make fun of you too. But no, the similar mats, I don't know if you guys do the Gamelin games when they come out with the Kickstarters for like Tiny Epic Quest or Tiny Epic Western. They come out with the play mats on like the mouse pad material and stuff. And like Brian was saying, that those are great little add-ons, and I can't resist them because they just enhance that gameplay so much more. I don't know.
I agree.
It makes me feel cool.
I will say, I could probably think of, there's not a single game that has a mat available, and I own the game and not the mat, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like where it's been available, I own it. I don't want to say I own every one. You might have like, different planets we play, whatever but I have a mat for every game that has a mat. Because I like them. They're fun. And it's nice to have spots where cards go. It does help you keep some order. So.
It really helps when you're teaching the game to new people, too.
Yeah. Plus, I like it because I want to see people playing this game at a Gen Con, for example, and I want to see 10 games in a row, and I want to see 10 of those mats laid across the table because it looks awesome because the mat itself looks like a maze. So I just like the look of it. I think it helps the theme, helps you get into it. So that's another reason why I do recommend it.
On Kickstarters, I always find myself telling myself I'm not going to get these extra things, and then by the time it's ending or even when they send the pledge manager to me, I'm like, okay, I'll just add these things. It's only 75 more bucks or whatever it is.
And actually, I'm glad you brought that up. So anyone listening now, the Kickstarter is live. Unless it's after, then it was live and it's not up anymore. But if you do want to buy add-ons, please don't do what Scott said and wait until the end.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, that's actually the worst thing. I mean,
well, it doesn't matter for big companies. You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter. But this is just me and Brian, the people that are on this call right now. If you pledged for a base game at 29 and you want the mat for 25, please pledge 54. Like, actually raise the pledge to what is available. And if there's other add-ons that come out, please raise your pledge to pay for those as opposed to waiting till the end, because the more you pledge, the more stretch goals we get. It's as simple as that. And the higher the dollar amount of the higher the overall total, the more enticing it is for new backers. Nobody wants to jump on a Kickstarter they don't think is going to fund or is barely funding. They want to jump on one that's already hit all these stretch goals. So by you adding more money in for the things you want, it helps everybody, and that's what we want. If that makes sense.
Is really not this is not a pre-order like from Cool Mini or not. This is what we need to fund this game and get it out into your hands.
Correct. That's a great point. If this game hits 10,000 on the dot, one, I'm losing money. I'm telling you that right off the bat. I don't mind. I'm okay with it. But if it hits 10,000 on the dot, I lose money. But the game gets made. The base game. That's it. That's it. There's no, I'm not going to say there's never going to be other characters. It might happen one day, but there's a shit ton of minimums I have to hit. And I would have to front that money myself. So Kickstarter allows me not to have to front the money, or to front everybody's money, put it that way, as opposed to, okay, I want to add in this expansion pack. I got to order 1,000 of them, and it's X amount for each, and I'm stuck with them all till I sell them. I'm just, so essentially a one-man operation with two other guys here. It's not a pre-order. So if you pledge and you want stuff, please increase your amount so we could all get the cool stuff. Xtreme, what else you got?
If a tree falls in a forest and a group of kids are playing deathpath, would the kids be so engrossed in the gameplay that they wouldn't notice the tree coming until it's too late?
What? Who said that?
Kurt Mattson.
Oh! The co-founder of Deathpath? Like the name Deathpath? That's all he gets is the name. I'm saying that right now, Kurt. That's all you get. No, I'm just kidding. If you want some of the action, I'll get you. If you want a free game, I'll get you a free game. How about that? Yeah.
Just give him one character so he has to buy the other one.
Oh, that's a good idea. What was his question again? Is it a real question? It sounds like a joke.
If a tree falls in a forest and a group of kids are playing deathpath, would the kids be so engrossed in the gameplay that they wouldn't notice the tree coming until it's too late?
Can you read the comments to this question, please?
Jonathan replied, on the next episode of Stranger Things.
Oh, that guy's an idiot. Nobody watches that. Nobody watches that show anyway.
Kurt responded, hopefully.
No.
Then Kurt responded to himself, is the gameplay the same in the Upside Down?
Oh, that's a good one. Why don't I let Xtreme answer that one?
Well, before Jonathan replied to it. This will be answered on the next Zlurpcast.
Whoa. Mind blown. I think we're in the Upside Down right now. How did this Jonathan character know what?
I don't know. He seems to have some control over Zlurpcast. It's weird.
Jonathan. Andrew Pauletis. Jap. Jap. That's me. That's the nickname. Why don't you answer the Upside Down question, Xtreme?
I think in the Upside Down, the game would be played in reverse. So there would be one person dead, then as you went through the death path, you would find other living people.
Oh, does Barb come back?
Barb's lost forever in the death path.
Ah. That's too bad.
Is this a Stranger Things reference that I don't get since I don't watch it?
Oh, did I just spoil something for you?
Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry. It's what? Hold on.
No,
what's
there's no chance I'll ever watch it.
What's your length of time like before something's not a spoiler? What's yours, Scott?
It doesn't matter. You can tell me right off the bat. I don't care.
Really? So if there's a show that you love and you didn't see it one night and the next day I told you everything that happened, you wouldn't care?
I really wouldn't get mad. There's not a lot of shows that I watch, really.
Wow. You know, Xtreme gets mad if I tell him what happens in a Cubs game.
Well, I guess if you're taping it or something, I might get mad.
Tape. How old are you, dude? 43.
I'm 43. That's why I still say tape.
Do you have a VCR?
I buys my comic books and I flip through them and even look at the end before I ever read them. So I'm kind of weird that way.
You know, I'm actually with you to a point. Not on comics or like books because it's a story, and to me that's extra weird that you do that. But what I do is if I have like just a regular magazine, like a Sports Illustrated, whatever, like I always start at the back. I don't even know why. Like
that's because when you were a kid, you liked all the ads in those dirty magazines.
I want those 3D glasses that you can see like under a girl's clothes.
Exactly.
You know,
and see through your hand.
Yeah. But then it's like, wait a minute. So how come on guys you see bones, but on girls you see boobs? And I don't mean bones like bones. I mean like literally skeleton. Like you look at your hand, it's like, whoa, skeleton. You look at a girl and it's like, like, what? And my tongue rolls back in. Stupid. All right. So what's the next question, Xtreme?
I'm out of questions here. You said there were more questions somewhere else.
Go to facebook.com/deathpathgame. Hey, by the way, that's the Deathpath Facebook page. Give that a like. If you are a Twitter person, Deathpath Game on Twitter. If you are an Instagram person, Deathpath Game on Instagram. All three are covered. Oh, and you know what? While you're at it, since you're all over the internet right now, go to Board Game Geek, search Deathpath, give us your hearts, give us your stars, give us reviews, comments, all that stuff. Because why not?
All right, so I found Todd's machine gunning of questions here. Some of these I believe we've answered, so I'll skip over some.
We call him Machine Gun Todd. We never called him that.
So we covered number of players, we covered solo play, estimated cost. I think you kind of mentioned a couple times.
Yeah,
so.
I'll run through the pledge levels. The base game is $29, even. Oh, by the way, let me also address the shipping thing. I'm not charging shipping during this, so that's without shipping. The shipping will come at a later date, and there's several reasons for that. I'm going to give you the two main ones. Actually, I'm going to give you three main ones, three main reasons, because a lot of people don't like this concept. So I'm going to explain why I think it's good just for me. It's not for everybody, every game creator, but one, I don't know what the real shipping cost is going to be. I have not made this game yet. I have not ordered a prototype from the company that makes this game because I would have to pay for all the dice to be created. Like, the mold to make the custom symbols and all that. I would have to pay that. It's like $2,000, I think. I have to pay $2,000 to get one game for me to say I got the real game. It's not worth it. I'm just going to have the cards printed for $50 and make my own dice, and that's my prototype. So I don't know what the official game is going to end up being. I don't know how many stretch goals we're going to get and how much is that's going to weigh the game down too. I'm not looking to make any money on shipping by any means. I'm looking to just cover the proper costs. So I'm doing this because I want to be able to charge people what it's supposed to cost. So I put estimates in the Kickstarter. You can look at the estimates on there. It's US friendly, Canada friendly, EU friendly, UK friendly. At this time, I don't really have a solution for other countries like Australia. And so I just can't do it. The game is so cheap, $29. I don't want anyone paying more than $29 to get it. I think that's crazy. Down the road, maybe we'll have some solutions, but I'm sorry to anyone that isn't in those groups of countries. So that's the reason. That's one of the reasons. The other reason, it keeps my goal lower. So instead of asking for $12,000, I'm asking for $10,000. I'm just throwing out round numbers. It's a lesser goal. It seems more attainable. Also, it's less that I have to give Kickstarter. They take a cut. If you didn't know this, I'm sure everyone does, but Kickstarter takes a cut of anywhere between 8 and 10%. No joke. It's a lot of dough. So why would I give them more? I don't. So there's several reasons. Those are the main ones. The absolute main one is I want to charge you a proper amount. I don't want to overcharge you, and I don't want to undercharge you and have to pay out of pocket because that's not fair for anybody. So anyway, base level's $29. You get the main starter set. You get 209 card maze decks. You get, I believe, 9 custom weapon dice. You get 6 custom D6s. You get 16 item cards, 2 large size character cards, 60 health tokens, which will be cardboard punch-outs of the Deathpath logo, just because it looks awesome. It's a maze. It looks great. And the rule book, of course. Inside hopefully, I know Brian Thompson, one of our big fans, hopefully he likes the box. He's a box guy. He doesn't care about what's inside the box. He likes the box, much like a baby or a cat. That's Brian likes a good box, and I don't blame him. I like a good box too. So that's $29. For $55, you get 2 copies of the game. Simple enough.
How many boxes?
2 boxes.
Two boxes.
I'm literally putting 2 boxes. I'm not. The people that are doing this would literally put 2 Deathpath game boxes into 1 cardboard box and ship that to you.
Ooh, that's like 3 boxes.
Yeah. If you
And 2 boxes inside a box? Yikes.
Well, and I mean, if it comes by UPS or mail, guess what it's being transported in?
Another box?
Well, a truck that looks like a box. Close.
A guy who holds boxes. He touches them all day.
That and a box-shaped gentleman will be bringing it to your doorstep.
Will he put it in my mailbox?
Your half oval mailbox?
Maybe.
Would a young video game playing Brian Mitchell box him as he did that because he's a dick?
That's good. I'm glad you brought that
That's
up.
reach.
Okay, hold on. No. I'm glad you brought not a reach at all. Early versions of Deathpath, fighting was called boxing.
That's why I brought it up.
No, it isn't.
No, you had the box thing. I remember the rules.
Okay.
It was like box.
Yep.
That was like instead of fight, it was box.
You're right. I had a lot of great suggestions from Brent Spivey. He created Techno Bowl, a bunch of miniature games, a very established game designer. He gave me a couple of ideas, and one of them was, let's just call it fighting, because one, it sounds like a fighting, like, round 1, fight. And that way he said boxing doesn't appeal to everybody. And let's say it's true. If you're playing in a country where it's not even really a sport, and so this is just fighting. It combines boxing, martial arts, MMA, all these different styles. And
I was glad you changed that because I didn't like the term box either.
You can tell me that now, and I appreciate that. So that's the 2 boxes for $55. It's the Let's Play 2 category. Then we have 2 other pledge levels. We have Create a Character. You get to make your own character. You will design this character with us. We'll make a character card, a large size one. You're going to have special rules for your character. You're going to have your own custom D6s. You will be in the game as a character. You might even be a stretch goal that people get for free, or it might be a purchase later. Or, if we make this Dead Ends expansion, you might be a bad guy. So maybe you wanted to create a character, but you want to be a bad guy. As long as we hit that expansion pack, we can make that happen. So you're going to get to make a character in the game, and you get 2 box sets as well, and that's $175. Scott, do you know why the price is $120 more than just 2 games?
Because you get to be in the game forever. You're immortalized.
No. Real life.
I'm hoping I'll get like $4 or so out of that to draw those pictures.
You'll get a good chunk of that, the vast majority of that. The only other amount, let's say, for example, don't quote me to anything. You shrewd businessman, you. If it's 120 extra and you get 100 and I get 20, that 20 doesn't go to me. That 20 goes to getting custom dice created because now it's more dice. I'd like to think that by the time we hit that stretch goal, there's already enough in the pool where it's covered. But I don't know. So you will get the vast majority of that because you are the artist, and artists deserve to get paid. How about that?
No, I like this idea, especially since not too long ago I found out that my contract is ending, so I'll be losing my job soon. So everybody, fund Deathpath so I can maybe have a new career.
Wow. Well, this was a really fun episode.
No, if it's
no, it's not. It's now it's different.
My job is a death path. It's going to end. I'm going to have to make another choice in life and see where it takes me.
Okay. Well, your options, as you know, are take the left path, the right path, or possibly stay on course. That's for you to decide, my friend.
All right.
People that read I have a blog. It's referenced at the end of the campaign entry. Talks about why we're doing these games, why Brian and I have started Zlurpcast Studios, and career changes and all that kind of stuff. And it's true. When you get older, and when you're guys like us that we'd like to think we're somewhat creative. Who knows? You like to try stuff. And so you have my support, whatever you want to do. I would also give you the advice of never be afraid to try something because you don't know what's going to happen. And don't be afraid to get fired either. We talked about that last episode.
Right.
That's the absolute truth. You figure it out.
Yeah, I'm not for a guy who's going to lose his job in about 6 weeks. I'm not real worried about it because life always seems to work itself out. So
hey, at least you got 6 weeks.
Hey,
it could be tomorrow. Sorry.
Oh, thanks. So my death path begins tomorrow. We are having a meeting tomorrow, so maybe I find out and get cut early.
Are they calling an all hands meeting?
Well, we've already lifted all the heavy stuff, so I'll be the first to go, but for that reason.
All right, start packing up now.
I'll have more time to draw some characters. Buy those creative characters.
That would be great. Make sure you don't forget your I want those to be in the box that you take with you when you get escorted out.
Thank you.
I want to make sure you've got any. You probably have some toys on your desk, right?
I have a few, and I have a lot of the good medicines that we get in the medicine cabinet. Every now and then we get name brand stuff, so everybody hoards those.
You got
a zombie apocalypse.
You got a Jack Staff action figure?
I wish I did, Johnny. I wish I did. Somewhere Paul Grist is listening to Zlurpcast, or he did at one point, and you guys make fun of that character. He creates so much.
How am I making fun of it?
Because you guys laugh every time about.
Because it's a reference to the
Great Britain's greatest superhero, Jack Staff.
Hey, you know what?
Does he have a cape?
It's better.
He does not have a cape.
It's better than Alpha Flight. Just saying. It's better than Canadian.
Anything's better than Alpha Flight.
I'm saying it's better than Canadian superheroes. Just saying. Anyway. So Xtreme, next question.
Gosh, where were we?
Someone's got to pay attention here.
Can you combine decks for bigger games?
No. Flat out no. I don't see.
What would the point of that be? Just to make the path longer?
Yeah.
Boy.
I'm gonna say no.
Well, I think the problem with doing that, like even if you want to do like house rule it and combine decks to make the path longer because you want a longer game, you're just going to end up killing each other.
Yeah,
you're never going to get to the end.
If you want a longer game, just add more people. That's what I found. Another option, and here, it's good to talk about this. So in the base game, 2-player, there are 16, I should know this, item cards, and there are 9 weapons. I think that's right. I think there's nine weapons and 16 item cards. The reason why I'm making a point to say that is if you play 4 players, well, one would expect you should probably double the amount of item cards. So instead of 16 item cards, you should probably combine 2 of those decks and make 32. But however, wouldn't you think that by changing the number of items, you also would have an impact on game length as well? Because it might be less weapons, less harder to take out Pathfinders or other people. So there could be some variables in that as well. I don't know. If the motive of that is to make the game longer, I would just say have more people playing. It's not intended to be a long game though. So I'm going to say no on the combining decks.
All right. And kind of along the same line, extra cards to make your own paths. Well, I guess not. Like customizable cards to make your own paths or your own characters.
I thought about that. So let's talk about that for a second. So I used to play this card game back in the day. It was called Illuminati New World Order. I don't know if you know. It was a Steve Jackson game. It was very, I don't know, maybe I just was stupid, but I thought it was complicated to learn, and then we eventually got it. I had one of my friends that was smart teach everyone. But
Johnny, did you guys play it back when they had booster packs, or did you play the actual board game version?
No, we played the card game version.
Well, okay. There was a card game that had all the cards.
Yes, it was called One of Everything.
Okay, yeah, we bought into that when it was packs because we didn't want to play Magic, and we thought the rules were too complex. We never played it. We bought tons of packs, but never did shit. Yeah,
it took a while to play it to eventually get into it. But I had it was called One of Everything, and it had one of every card. And then I had a bunch of these booster packs for all these different secret societies. And so we had all those combined, and we each took one, and that was our secret society, and then we had the cards we pulled from. We had about 50 blank cards that we bought as packs. It was crazy cheap. It was $1 for 20 blank cards where one side had Illuminati New World Order, the other side was blank. And you were supposed to draw people that you know on there. Like, it's pretty funny because you're like, involved in this. And I was like, okay, so there's a conspiracy. Saddam Hussein was talking to Bill Clinton, but then Scott was in their meeting too. It's like that. So it's these wacky conspiracies put together with these crazy cards that they had. And then you add in like people you know in there too. That was pretty fun. We enjoyed that aspect of it. And it worked for that kind of game because it was sort of like a build your own adventure. There was an RPG of it too, but like the card game was sort of like a role playing because you're like, you don't know what's going to happen, where it's going to take us, that kind of thing. To relate that to Death Path, so if there were blank cards in the game, well, one, what would they be? Would that be you making new weapons? Well, in that case, you need new dice because every weapon is a custom die, so that's not going to work. Would they be new characters? Well, probably not because the characters are on larger character cards, and they have their own special rules and their own special dice. So it would be hard for someone to make their own character unless you just reskin somebody. If you want to say, I'm going to make Scott Prime, but I'm going to use the rule for Zoe Jackson. Okay. Go ahead. You can print out a picture of yourself and stick it on your card. But I don't think blank cards would enhance the game experience. What do you guys think?
Not at all. But I'm not a fan of blank card games anyways. I mean, I know Munchkin and other games do that, but just not for me.
Yeah. Xtreme, what do you think?
What I found with those, like the people that do like those think it's a really great idea, but then they spend so much time overthinking it, then they never actually put anything on the blank card.
You are 100% right. Those packs of Illuminati cards. So we bought the whole comic store out of them because they were like on the clearance bin. They might even be like 50 cents. It was crazy, super cheap. We bought them all. I think we made like 3 of them, and I had like 300 blank cards. They were still shrunk wrap. Because we were like, what are we going to use? What are we going to do? Well, we should make this. No, we should never. We made like 3, and they were horrible drawings.
Did they have the like high gloss finish on them, so you couldn't really draw on them very well?
Yeah, I mean, I already can't draw, so it already looked like crap. And now I'm trying to have a pen that's not going to smear the moment your like oily fingers touch it. So you're exactly. I bet if we would.
That's another reason why I hate those.
Yeah, if we would have used a Sharpie, it would have worked out. But then it's going to look like crap because it's a Sharpie. So. I mean, fun idea that didn't really work out. I would say in Death Path, there's a good chance there won't be any blank cards. But if you want to make your own characters, just reskin the ones we have and make your own. And also, it's your game. So if you want to, this. I mean, I know this is kind of a cop-out answer, but if you want to make a house rule that says you can't choose straight, you always have to pick a left or right, or you can't do this. We'll do whatever you want. I just don't think I'm going to, and to put it bluntly, I don't think I'm going to waste backers' money to make blank cards, frankly.
Well, I already thought about using a version to, like, when I get my games and stuff, to take the Pathfinders out of the extra decks I have, and when I play one-on-one, add some extra ones in there as like a house rule, just to make it a little bit more difficult.
Sure. I'm all for that. I should also note, so on that subject, in the base game, so you have 209 card maze decks. They're exactly the same cards. However, one deck has a reddish background, one has a black-gray background. And that's due to when you put them back in the box. They're supposed to be dividers, but who knows? I mean, I'm not paying to have a plastic injected mold in the thing because that's going to it's going to raise the. So I'm trying to do it so it makes sense, but also like practical. So there should be a divider, but by chance, if the cards get mixed up, I want you to be able to easily sort them out. So to your point, Scott, you can totally do that. I would just recommend if you add in 3 Pathfinders, add in 3 to the black deck and 3 to the red deck.
Yeah, exactly. That was my plan all along.
Okay.
Once I knew that there was like a 4-pack to get.
Yeah, and I just wanted to actually, because I didn't talk about the colored backs, so I just wanted to sort of, let people know that the 2 decks are the same, but so you can easily tell you've got that.
But you're also right about those inserts. Those things are so expensive to make.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
if you listen to other podcasts where they talk about making games, talk about how
brutal
much it drives the price up on those games. And if you have a game already and you go buy a little custom wood insert or a plastic one, you know how much those damn things cost.
It costs as much of the game.
Exactly.
I will tell you this. I'm supposed to have cardboard, like, where they take cardboard and they fold it so it looks like rows.
Sure.
That's supposed to be in there. I'm envisioning the box to be sort of like a shoebox, but thinner. And so if it's 3 decks across and then a spot for dice and whatever, and then the rule book and the character cards go on top and that kind of thing, it should be fine. You should have 3 rows and the cards shouldn't overlap. But if I were to get a plastic mold injected, like card insert, it would actually, like, I'm not even joking, it would almost double the price of the game.
No, I believe it.
And you know what's the sad truth of that? So how about you get a board game and it comes with one of those, and then you sleeve your cards, they don't fit in there anyway.
Exactly.
So at that point, it's like, what do why even bother? All right, Xtreme, what else?
Will there be web support or updates available?
You mean like tech support?
I don't know what he means. It was
Like
just
a-
web support or update.
No, so what's going to happen is if you're trying to back the game and you run into a technical problem, I'm going to give you Scott's cell phone. And what's going to happen is you're going to call him at 3 a.m. and you're going to say, my scroller won't scroll. And he's going to say, what?
I'm going to say, are you my friend? I don't have many of them.
And he's going to say, have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? Okay, I'm assuming, is this another Todd question?
Yes.
I'm assuming
Tell
Todd.
him that we're working on the app, much like Mansions of Madness, second edition, so you can the game will play against you, but it's not going to come out until 2020.
People think you're serious right now because you said it with a straight voice.
Well, maybe I could ask Todd's question. Maybe he just wants to know, maybe as the game progresses and it gets out to the masses, if maybe there's an updated FAQ.
Of course.
That's on the website.
Definitely FAQ. There's no question that at some point people are going to, find something. Every gamer does, right? So, yeah, I would love to have that. If the game does take off and we make these expansions, sure, maybe, if we're already adding advanced rules in an expansion, who's to say we couldn't have downloadable extra things to add in? So I would say, yeah, as long as the game is successful, there will be as much web support as you can possibly desire. Xtreme, what's with the vacuum?
It's not me.
It's not me either.
That ain't me.
Every time he says it's not me, it stops.
Because you're trying to. You're like, I didn't do it.
It feels good on my bug bite.
No one knows what that means. It's cut out.
That's the beauty of it. That's why I brought it up.
Okay, that's fine. So definitely you'll see some stuff online. I do own deathpath.com. So after the Kickstarter's over, it's going to turn into a store with FAQs and other support. So yeah, in a roundabout way, yeah, you'll get a bunch of stuff online. Don't worry.
Maybe we should turn Todd's question, since it's like a online support system thing. Maybe we should turn that into some contest. Like if it gets funded within like 3 days, we can run a contest. Once it's funded and out in people's hands, like we can do a free drawing for a free downloadable character where they can print it off at home.
It's not bad. Although you do need custom dice though. So we'll have some kind of.
That's true.
We will have some kind of contest. I'm glad you brought it up. We will do something. I'm not doing this like, I'm not doing like early birds because no one likes to feel left out. There is going to be. I guess since we're talking about it, so there's not just going to be monetary stretch goals. I have social stretch goals as well. If there's a combined 50 shares or retweets of my initial post from the Deathpath Facebook page or Twitter account talking about it, everyone's going to get an exclusive Deathpath metal coin. You're not going to get that after the campaign. I'm only going to make enough for the backers. And by the way, if you get 2 games, you're getting 2 of them. So,
Ooh,
yeah,
that's nice.
I better see those on eBay. I better see them on eBay. I've also got a stretch goal based on number of backers. When we hit 100 backers of the campaign, everyone is going to get an Ion Disruptor card. It's a brand new weapon in the game. So there's not supposed to be guns in Deathpath, right? It's all hand in hand because the government's not going to trust a subject with a gun. They don't want them shooting it, The thing is, the Ion Disruptor works against Pathfinders. One use, zap them, you get right past. You found one, you weren't supposed to find it, that's how you got one. So it's a Kickstarter exclusive card, Ion Disruptor. Everybody will get if we hit 100 backers. When we hit 100 backers, I should say. Not if. When? How's that for a plug?
Sounds good.
All right, next question. Is that it for Scott? Or Todd, rather?
Nope.
Oh, shit.
Confused us.
I did ask for questions. Just didn't know how many he would have saved up.
Is competitive play an option? Are there going to be tournaments possible?
Maybe. Let's see what happens. Not opposed to it. I would love to see like 20, 25 different characters in the game. And we do sort of a tournament where everybody plays one in almost a role-playing aspect of it. But let's see where it goes first. I'm not opposed to it. I would love to see it. I will tell you this much. As long as it funds and we actually make the game, you will see it at a convention of some sort. It might be casual play. It might be tournaments. It might be both. It might just be in a booth for demos. I don't know. But the campaign isn't the end of it as long as it funds. We'll leave it at that. Is that it? Oh, who's got the vacuum on again?
It's Talk Extreme.
And now it stopped.
Oh, it might be me.
Extreme, do you have the vacuum on?
I don't.
All right. I mean, you can tell me. We have we have dozens of listeners. They all want to know, are you vacuuming tonight? And what are you wearing?
Not.
And what are you wearing?
Yeah, what are you wearing?
Are you wearing short shorts that you might get a bug bite?
I'm not.
You couldn't wear short shorts. You could get a bug bite like if you mowed the lawn.
That's true. If you was wearing like Jack Tripper shorts.
Golly. Can you believe we ever wore those?
What are you talking about?
I'm an old guy, man.
No, I wore them.
Back in the day, those nutters were just what you wore. And golly, no wonder I hated shorts as a kid.
Nutters. I never heard
Is that what you guys called them?
I never heard that. It's funny though.
That must be a Choctaw term where I grew up. But yeah, we all called them nutters. I mean, you sit down wrong and your nuts squeeze out.
Dude, that happened in an episode of Three's Company. You know that, right?
For real?
Yeah, Extreme. Look it up right now. Look it up right now and describe it. Describe it to Scott.
Oh,
Is this serious?
Yeah.
Is this important?
I thought I've seen every episode of Three's Company.
No, there's an episode. Extreme. Look up Jack Tripper nuts shorts or something like that.
When I was a kid, I even watched the Ropers.
Oh, yeah, I watched it too because it had hey now, Hank Kingsley. Yeah, so there's an episode where Jack's sitting on the bed and you see part of a nut.
Oh, wow. So it was like by accident?
You tell me. I don't know.
You know who? I can't even say it.
All right. Extreme, you got it?
I got it.
All right. Can you describe to Scott what it looks like?
All right. He's walked in the room. He's taken off a bathrobe. He's upset. He sits on the bed. He's taking off his socks, and one of his nuts falls out of his shorts.
And you see it clear as day.
And does it hit the ground? Does it literally fall out?
No.
Wow, I'm going to have to look this up.
Next question. Well, how do we segue from Jack Tripper's nuts to the next question?
Well, it should be pretty easy because it's from Steve Campbell.
Okay.
Speaking
When
of nuts,
will you make the best player ever, Dynamo?
From Running Man?
Sure.
That's the, yeah, it was in Running Man. Well, Steve, you know what? Scott, can you bring Steve in for this question?
dude, I've already texted him to come in here, and he said he doesn't want to derail the podcast.
But can you tell him it's his question?
Okay, I will text him.
No, don't text him. Can you just walk over? Dude,
I'm that close to him.
He's not. Sorry, I know you were in the mansion tonight.
Is he vacuuming?
Did I take the elevator down?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I want to answer his question with him here because why not?
Okay. All right, we can see what we can get him.
Kilowage. We have a special guest.
See, when I envisioned Dynamo, I forgot he was in Running Man, but I was thinking of like a dinosaur themed combatant, like a furry in the future.
What? Why would you?
Dresses up like a dinosaur.
Why would you
and then,
want
like,
that?
Put this fool in there.
Why would you want that?
Why would I want that? The government does it to make him laugh. There's like furries evolve into like prehistoric dinosaurs, and Dynamo is like a dinosaur furry, and they're like, we're gonna put you into the maze.
You're selling me. I'm sold.
Oh,
Futuristic furries.
If
speaking of Dynamo, I'm gonna get off the mic here,
Steve's
and
there.
he's gonna turn the other mic
So,
on. Hold on a second, fellas.
I will say, if you want to make that character, Scott, you know what you got to do. 175, create a character. Oh, we didn't talk about the other pledge level real quick. I'm just going to quickly touch on it because I want people to read about it. $349. $349. 2 copies of the game. Create your own character. And you get a Zlurpcast double Dream Cream Supreme date with Xtreme and Jonny P after Gen Con or Adepticon. We take you out. You and a +1. You bring a guest.
Wear nutters?
No. We take you we take you out. We're going to take you to a bar called Nutters. We're going to buy food. We're going to buy drinks. We're going to have a gay old time. And we're covering that tab. We're not going to fly you out there. We're not going to put you up. But we're covering the tab. Within reason, Brian Thompson. He's like, oh, surf and turf? Dude, get that crap out of here. Come on. No, within reason. But we're going to cover it. It's honestly going to be a really fun night. And not only will you get to experience that, you're going to join us on a future Zlurpcast. We're going to talk about it, and you're going to make your own character in the game and get 2 copies. So, anyway.
All right, guys. Presenting Kilowoggy.
I have no idea what I just came into.
Okay, Kilowog.
Started off with nutters.
He has said that before.
So here,
I have no idea what I just came into.
What's up, Steve? We're happy to talk to you. Thanks for joining the show. It's good. So we're going through all of the questions the people were asking.
You missed the best joke, Johnny.
Oh,
What?
I loved it. It was great.
What was the joke?
That's not the first time Steve has said, I don't know what I just came into.
And it started with nutters.
Started with others. I totally missed it. I was trying to be real. And you guys are like, you guys are acting like kids, basically.
We're not really acting. It's just how we are.
Perfect. Then I love it. You asked about Dynamo, correct?
Yeah, the best character ever created in the history of modern cinema.
If you can guess his current age and whether he's dead or alive and how it happened, we will put him in the game.
Okay.
You shouldn't do this.
I'm going to guess he's still alive because that eliminates me having to guess how he died. And he would be, 63?
Well,
and he's an electrician.
Ironically, he's dead, and that's how he died. No, no, he died at 34.
Really?
So how bad do you feel about making a joke out of this guy?
I think life in that movie already did.
He was from the Netherlands. He was from Hilversum, the Netherlands. He died in New York City at 34 due to heart failure. Just after the movie came out, I'm guessing, because that was 87 he died. The movie came out in 87, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Or 86, maybe.
Unfortunately, Erland van Lith de Jwed. That's his real name.
Yeah, never would have guessed that.
I wasn't going to ask you that one. He says, a Dutch-born American actor who appeared in several Hollywood films, as well as being a wrestler and singing as an operatic bass baritone and studying computer science at MIT.
Man, he was a jack of all trades.
And what do we know him as?
Dynamo.
He did all these things. And what do we know him as? It's unfortunate. So
Dynamo's amazing. Wow, that was a great look.
It's a great look. And here's what I want you to do, Steve.
And you would know that he was coming around the corner because the corner would be lit up.
Right, of course it would. Here's what I'm going to ask of you, Steve.
Okay.
I want you, because right now, right exact at this moment, not this moment, but like this moment, like when people are listening, I want you to go to deathpath.com. It routes to the Kickstarter page. I want you to back it at 175. And I want you to say, hey, Jonny P, I want to create Dynamo. Here's my money. And I say thanks.
I'm pretty sure if I do that, I'm going to put myself in the game and not Dynamo.
Oh, I thought that was the same thing.
Well, I would put in Rojo Diablo just to mess with a certain Blanco Diablo.
Ooh. That's a burn on some different levels.
Peter?
Yeah, I thought you might be a character named Peter.
Oh, Peter from Cosby Show, the little fat kid?
Wow. There's a little fat white kid.
Hold on, Steve. I didn't just pull that out of nowhere. There was a whole bit on that.
Oh, okay. I was super impressed.
Wasn't that when you used to act, when your parents forced you into acting?
No, I was the kid who was molested in the bike shop.
Oh, from Richard Jump as well, the molester.
Dick Jump. Wow.
Dick Jump. All right, so Xtreme, do we have any other questions?
Nope.
Shit. What do you want to cover, Xtreme? Because we talked a lot. You kept us on track some of the time, except when you talked about fucking with people at arcades. But what do you want to talk about with Deathpath? And what didn't we cover yet?
I think we covered everything that I can think of. Don't know if we left any path unexplored.
Ooh. Oh, look at this guy.
Ooh. He's been waiting all night to use that one.
Well, so if you're listening to this the day it comes out, which is Tuesday, August 15th, Kickstarter went live at 10 a.m. Central. I am also going to be at Gen Con. So if you're listening to this in that window between when we released it and Gen Con 3 days later, I am going to be showing this game off in the first exposure playtest hall on Saturday from 10 to noon. I'll have a banner up. Can't miss it. You'll try the game out. If you like it, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. If you don't like it, I honestly still want to hear what you think about it. And I want to still hear some people's opinions. So yeah, definitely check it out. And then outside of those hours, if you're at Gen Con and you come across, you want to meet up with me or something, I'm on all those social medias we mentioned. JP4 Media, the number 4 Media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. Let me know. Happy to meet up with people and show it off. I think it's the type of game that if you didn't watch the video and you just heard about it, I'd like to show you, because there's a flipping cards over as a mechanic that isn't in a lot of games, as far as like as a means to get to an end, put it that way. So I want to show you how it goes, and it's a quick game. So if you're at Gen Con, definitely look me up so I can show it to you.
Are you going to go on Twitch and show off for everybody?
I don't have a Twitch planned because I don't really use it, but
you should.
I probably should. I probably need someone to show me how to do it.
Or YouTube.
Nudge, nudge. Well, okay, so let me tell you what I am going to do.
Are you the world?
At Gen Con, during that same 2-hour first exposure playtest area, I'm going to do a Facebook Live and record that entire 2 hours, or at least a couple of chunks. Is that good enough for you?
That sounds good.
Okay. That's great.
Scott, as the lead artist on Deathpath, an integral, is that the word? I almost called you an integer for all the math nerds out there. An integral.
Prime number.
Yes, prime number. An integral part of Deathpath is its artist, and that is you. What did you like most about this project, and what did you like least about this project?
The thing I didn't like the most is, like, if I had a finished piece of artwork done and I thought, oh, I got this character done, or this piece of artwork done, and I would hand it to my editor, whose initials were JP, and he would say, oh, it's really good, but, and then we'd have to change a bunch of stuff. And I'm not drawing this digitally. I'm doing it the old school way of drawing it pen and paper, sketching out. So I've actually learned a lot. I'm giving you a hard time about it.
No, and I appreciate that. I wanted it sketched out. That's another. I didn't assume you had computer art experience. I knew you as a comic book type artist.
Right.
So that's what I wanted for the game. So it actually worked out very well, because that's the look I was going for. And then so here's my issue that I have with my own sort of creative elements. Whenever I have people that help me with things, I do a good job of explaining certain things, but not concept. For some reason, like a look of something, I can never explain it right. And I'm like, it's one of those where I don't know what I want, but I know what I don't want.
Sure.
And a lot of people have that, and it's a horrible hang up to have when you're in the role that I have in this project, because of the person that should be the most clear is me telling you what I want. And you're like, is this what you're thinking? I'm like, well, no, but maybe.
Well, part of that is my problem with trying to get it done. I would go to inks really quick, and then I would spend, a couple hours inking something, and then I would show it to you. So I started learning, like, no, show him the pencils, you fool, before you do all the work, Well,
so far, nothing you've inked has ever been got dumped, right? Everything you've inked has been solid, I think. Except for maybe the weapon that was the other color. But I think everything else was...
There's a few pictures that were wrong.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's
Scott
cool.
started out inking pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And eventually he learned, oh, I should just wait.
Yeah.
And that's part of the learning process. I mean, we're not, 2 blocks away from each other. I'm in Oklahoma, you're up in Illinois. So it's kind of a struggle we don't get that face to face sitting over each other's shoulders to explain things, you know.
Kind of like with our podcast. I mean, we're a state apart, so sometimes it's tough to get together. With this, I'm sure that if we were in the same area and I got to show you the game and we talked and back and forth, that there would be some things we would come up with. But
Sure.
I think what we had to deal with as far as like you're there, I'm here, we both have full-time jobs. I've got Brian helping me with rules. We've got Brock helping with design. I've got Jeff Burbage helping with a playmat. No one lives next to me that's involved in this. So, yeah, I think that we were able to get through, stumble our way through, and so far the end result's pretty awesome. I think that people backing the game do need to understand that the bulk of the game artwork is done, but there are some items. There's a couple of weapons we still got to work out. It's not really... I don't really think it's imperative to show that off in the Kickstarter. I would rather show you guys new characters that are coming out that you might get. Because to me, that's a bigger deal than, hey, here's a stun blade. It's going to be a blue sword. Okay, like it's all right. I don't, if you're listing a priority, I don't necessarily need to see that. So yeah, I think that I'm very happy with your work, and I'm also very happy with just how, even though with all the stuff you had going on, it's summer, it's vacations, all this stuff. You still understood deadlines and why certain things were important. So that was helpful.
Well, and then to answer like what has been the most enjoyable process, I don't know. It seems like every time you guys talk about something, me and Steve are already thinking of these things. You guys switched to an all board game podcast. We've for years thought about every now and then doing a board game podcast, but we've never pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
You guys are creating board games. Me and Steve on many of our Blood Bowl trips have talked about board games that we'd like to create.
Yep.
So it's not that we're kind of like-minded in the fact that in some ways we're these dreamer kids that are finally old enough that we can do these things. So like when you approached me to do this, of course I said yes, because I'm scared. You're always scared of failure, but you got to step out there and just do it.
Yeah.
And so that's been the fun part about this. It also gives, I have 2 children. I have a full-time job. I have a part-time job. So this gave me an opportunity. It gave me a reason to sketch and draw, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think
because sometimes it's hard to find like, oh, I'm just going to go sketch for 4 hours, because there's always something to do. There's the lawn to mow. There's a kid that needs something or homework or reading or something. This gave you a reason to kind of focus and have fun, just like you were when you were 15, old enough to do almost everything, but have a job.
Well, you guys obviously have had a podcast for a long time, by the way, both down, a Blood Bowl fluff-oriented podcast. Maybe board games soon, we'll see. But I think it's the same kind of thing with a podcast. Sometimes you need to force yourself to do something in order to have more fun. It's like it all sort of goes together. So, like, you wouldn't have done some of the same things you've done in Blood Bowl if not for the podcast, because you wanted something to talk about.
Sure.
And you wanted, and people encouraged you, and feedback came in and said, oh, you should totally do that. Okay, we'll have a tournament where we do this. And so you have to almost have like that combo of fun and work. Not like work, like our jobs. I mean like work as in sometimes you have to turn your hobby into work to get more out of it. And people who do that, like Xtreme and I used to always talk about how sometimes like when we talk about Blood Bowl, we talk about tournaments aren't as frequent as when in the old days, because, well, no one's running them. Well, because we assume that if we stop running them, somebody else will. That doesn't always happen. So to a lot of people, you have to turn a hobby into a part-time job you don't get paid for. But by doing that, you get like exponentially a better product and a better end result. Sometimes it burns you out though. That's the other side. Then it's like, oh man, we got to run another tournament. I don't even want to run it, but now we have to because we already told people it's that kind of thing. So there's a good and bad side to it. So right now we're in the good side. We made a game, and it's on Kickstarter right now. And I've had input from everybody. I mean, Brian, obviously, with rules. Steve, you've actually chimed in on some extra rules here and there. So everyone's been involved in this. We made a game. That's awesome. So let's hope that there isn't the other side on this project of, oh, I got to do this. Let's just hope that it's all positive. The game funds. Any other closing words from anyone else?
I'm pretty positive this is going to lead to bigger and better things and more projects.
Good. Good. We want to get that comic going. I need 30 issues, probably by September.
Do you want me to draw it, plot it, and pretty much write it, and you can go back in and just change a few words and Stan Lee it?
Scott, you know me better than that. I'm going to write it.
Oh.
But you're doing to do all the other work. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, actually, you know what? We're both going to write it. How about that?
Oh, thanks, Stanley.
You know, how about this? You're going to write it then.
And you're going to take credit for it.
Of course.
I just want to bash Stanley.
Yeah, that's
Everybody
fine.
does.
You only want to bash him because he physically can't bash you back.
That's probably true.
Because he's 107, and we don't know him either.
Dude, that guy, he has found the secret to life somehow because he can still move around and do everything.
How do you know? Wait, how do you know he can move around?
I've seen him at conventions
He could
like
be just
this
a
year.
really good Disney robot.
True story. I was at that convention in Texas in the end of March, and we're walking by, and somebody's like, "Oh, Stan Lee's signing over there." I try to snap a picture from about 40 yards away. It's going to be a terrible picture. It's just enough to show like Steve or somebody and the girlfriend, like, "Hey, look, I took a picture of Stan Lee. He's over here signing." A guy jumped in front of my picture view, like taking a bullet. "Sir, you can't take pictures."
Wow.
And he just jumps in front of my picture. Pissed me off.
Are you sure that the guy, was it like a security guard type guy?
Yes.
Are you sure? And I'm just devil's advocate here. Maybe his name was Stanley, and that's what your friend was saying is going to be in the picture.
Oh.
Guys, it's Stan Lee. Stanley. And he's like, whoa. And he jumps in front of the old guy. He doesn't know who that is.
Right.
He's like, it's a bad joke, but it made Xtreme laugh,
He's
and that's
like,
all that
"Why
matters.
is Burt Reynolds here signing and this guy wants to take a picture of me?"
Wait, which one's Burt Reynolds?
Stanley?
Oh, I thought it was you.
No. No.
He's bald now, right? Is Burt Reynolds bald?
I think he always was.
Is
He's
that,
had a really good toupee.
is that confirmed?
I didn't look, but
Like at his head?
if you want to find him, I'll go to play with his hair.
You're gonna-
alive?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's still alive. What kind of question is that?
I had no idea
Bert's
that.
alive. We just talked about Stan Lee
I was
living
gonna
to
say,
be
I had-
10,000 years old, and Bert, you're like, what? He's still alive?
I had no idea. Hold on, I had no idea that Burt Reynolds was going to outlive Dynamo. Like when I was younger. I'm like, one of these guys is driving too fast to stay alive, and it ain't the fat one.
What age were you where you realized like Burt Reynolds is not as cool as you thought he was when you were 8?
That's a great question, actually.
Because like Cannonball Run, you're like, I want to be that dude.
Dude,
and all of a sudden you wake up one day and you go, fuck a mustache. I'm never having one.
That's a great question. It might have been like Boogie Nights era. Wasn't he the producer in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was his big comeback.
That was probably around then. I'm like, oh, this guy's, I don't know. And then I started to read articles and like this guy, as a kid, yeah, it was the Bandits. It was Cannonball Run. It was great. And now, yeah, he's in that group of is he alive or dead group, which it's not a good group to be in.
Yeah, but that's pretty much anybody older than us. And apparently some people younger than us.
Are you talking about Dynamo?
Rest
Yeah,
in peace,
exactly.
Dynamo.
Poor Dynamo.
Can you show some respect and call him by his real name, please?
Nevitz?
No.
Nevitz.
Earl.
Did you say Nevitz?
Earl.
Erland Van Lidth, Lidth, de Joude. I don't speak French, but Jeude.
We'll just call him Detlef Schrempf for short.
Yeah.
It's like a really weird Candyman thing where if you say his name 3 times in the mirror, he comes out.
This-
So we can't get his name right ever.
Let's get weird, different spirits.
And then he
like,
it's
hey.
And then he's trying, like I gotta call 911 to get help. Like, what's happening? We're getting attacked by Erland Van Lidth.
It says he's Rudy's rich uncle from the Cosby Show, from the Cosby Kids show.
He actually, so I'm looking at the screenshot on Wikipedia. It's from the movie, and he could pass for either a grown-up Peter or possibly Francis from Pee-wee. He can pass for one of those two in the screen cap.
I thought he was the guy that played Manitar for a long time at WWE, but
It says he was a wrestler. Do you think it is?
no, that guy
Timeline doesn't work out at all.
Like literally he doesn't work out, or it like the story doesn't work out? What do you mean?
Not unless he's a time traveler.
Oh, he is perhaps best known for his role as Grossberger in Stir Crazy with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
Huh.
Grossberger? Who is that?
Do we have time for one more tangent? You guys might know this.
I mean, if you can pop in a laser disc of Stir Crazy, I'd be all over it.
You guys remember a scene of maybe like a jailbreak? It's a comedy show where they put like a guard or something inside this little cell or whatever, and there's somebody who's sitting on the pot of the toilet eating a big bowl of beans, and he farts on this security guard. It's like a gas chamber. Do you happen to any recall of like this is as a movie or anything?
So is the fart like, does that like kill someone? Like how bad the gas is?
I don't remember. I just remember this scene as a child. And like they throw like this guard in there and they're like, to the gas chamber. And this big fat guy who's eating beans on a toilet farts. And the guy's like,
I'm pretty sure this just happened to you when you were the hall monitor and some kids threw you into the cafeteria.
You know, this actually sounds like a skit on You Can't Do That on Television, actually.
okay.
It sounds like...
Yeah.
Okay, then you might have pinpointed it because there was like 3 like crazy memories I had, and Steve and Jennifer were able to look up some of them and find it, but they haven't found this one.
I mean, and I don't necessarily recall that scene, but just that show, like it was a lot of fart jokes and that kind of like, they had a lot of jokes about like, you know, oh, we're in jail. It's just like weird, like gas chamber. And, oh, like that kind of great to like a 12-year-old, you know. But that
maybe that's it then.
Could have been. I don't know if you ever watched it as a kid. But.
That was a good reference.
Yeah. Barth?
I don't know.
I don't know.
When the slime comes down.
Yeah. Yeah. When you say I don't know, is that why you said that?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the weird?
No.
Guy?
When Scott said I don't know, was he saying I don't know because he didn't know, or because he wanted the slime?
No, he didn't know. I was saying I don't know to get slimed.
But
Joey
he said
just got slimed again.
But he said I don't know because he didn't know.
Oh, Joey got slimed.
Who's the dirty guy on that show?
Barth.
Bart?
Barth.
Oh.
Barf.
No.
It was Barf.
It was
Barf.
Barth.
Barf too.
It was Barth like Garth, but with a B.
Oh.
And so his whole thing was he worked at restaurants, and every time the kids would complain about the food, he would talk about how there was people inside the food. This was a kid's show, by the way. Mm-hmm. He would say, "What do you think's in the burgers?" Like, ugh, and then they start to throw up.
And it was Canadian.
Yeah.
You would not think so.
Mm-hmm.
Back on to message.
Yeah.
I would say not being involved in this in any way, really. I think it's awesome that you guys are actually getting this done, following through, and going live.
Thank you.
That in its own is a big accomplishment, and whether it funds or doesn't, and I'm sure it will, you know, it's something to be proud of.
That's awesome. Thank you. I have to know to put this back in from all the stuff that's out. Yeah, I appreciate that. Honestly, I think I touched on it at the beginning of this marathon of an episode that a lot of people want to be a game designer and a lot of people want to produce games. Not everyone does both. And I'm not saying we're better. I'll tell you the rationale of why we decided to do it. Well, one, I mean, there's the control freak that's in all of us, right? You want to be in control of your baby. But more importantly, we have some people that like us because we have a podcast. So when you guys make games, when you produce your own game, you should probably self-publish as well because you already have people who support you, will back you, will share your projects and get the word out. There's a shit ton of campaigns out there that are people that are amazing game designers. They've been playtesting 1,000 times more than me. And they're struggling to get some traction because they don't know anybody. And then they're like, well, maybe I can try to pitch this to somebody. Maybe that'll be a better. And so it's kind of a weird thing that you guys have and we have in that podcast gaming has led to a podcast. Podcast has led to an audience. That audience can then lead to other projects. And it's pretty cool that we have the ability now to do this. I mean, when I had ideas for games 20 years ago, there was no crowdfunding. So the ideas just ended up in the same spiral that they started in. Now we can actually turn it into something. So, I appreciate it. it's been quite a learning experience. And whether it funds or not, I will tell you, if it doesn't work out, well, one, it's not the end of it. We're going to come back. We're going to, we'll do better and come back. But the nice thing is everything's already done. The video's done. We've done marketing. We've got hype. We've got art. We've got you just have to tweak it. It's not like it's, start all the way over. Forget the whole game. We'll start fresh. No, it's how many times do large Kickstarters cancel and start over? It happens all the time. I don't want to do it. I don't want it to happen. But if it happens, it happens. What are you going to do?
I'm pretty sure that Warriors game has been up how many times?
Oh, dude, I'm done. Here's the thing. I'm done now.
You can only burn people so many times.
Yeah.
You still haven't told me where you're taking me.
So much for surprises. Fine, it's Grognard Games. I'm taking you to the coolest game store in the Chicago area.
Grog what?
Grognard Games. You like Warhammer, X-Wing, Magic, and all the same games as me.
True, but I hate game stores. It's always cramped in there, and I feel like I'm bothering the people working there just by looking around.
Grognard Games is different.
No thanks. I'm out of here.
Welcome to Grognard Game.
Yeah, cool tricks, but I was just leaving. Okay, I guess I'll stay.
Come on, check it out. They just got in a bunch of new stuff.
Well, I do need some paints. Wow, look at all those game tables.
Don't forget some colors to highlight along with that.
Where is that voice coming from? And why is he shooting lightning bolts from his fingers and offering invaluable hobby advice?
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
Oh, it was all a dream. Wait a sec. How did all these games get in my bed? Maybe it wasn't a dream after all.
It wasn't a dream. It's an awesome game store on Roselle Road, just north of the Elgin O'Hare Expressway. We went there last night, don't you remember?
I guess not. Hey, isn't it called Illinois Route 390 now? Also, what happened and, why are you in my bed?
Yeah, about that. I gotta go.
Wait, where are you going?
Grognard Games. They are open 7 days a week and will host your Chicago area gaming leagues and tournaments. Check them out at grognardgames.com or on Facebook at Grognard Games and Twitter and Instagram at Grognard Store.
Why do you know so much about Grognard Games?
I am the Grognard.
Cool. Please get out of my bed now.
All right, well, this has been the Deathpath episode of Zlurpcast. You heard from me babbling because, hey, I'm excited. Don't worry. The next episode, we're going to talk about War Machine. Xtreme's going to do all the talking, and I won't say shit because I don't care about it. So don't worry. We're going to even it out. Xtreme is the yin to my wang.
Saw that coming.
Did you? Gross.
Oh, yeah.
Also joining me on this episode, Scott Delcine, a.k.a. Scott Prime, the lead artist on Deathpath. His work is awesome. He did a great job. I want to work on future projects with him as well. And, of course, the heart and soul of this episode, who joined us in the third act.
It's really where all the heroes come in.
That is Steve Campbell, a.k.a. Kilowog, 2814.
Yay.
Happy to be here and just derail things, make sure they go off the path.
And if you miss Blood Bowl talk, you can go over to bothdown.com and get all your Blood Bowl talk from the world's two greatest Blood Bowl gingers.
And we're out of time. I'm like, Dad, this elephant tastes awesome.